Business schools do a pretty good job of providing students with theoretical frameworks, which can sometimes be applied to real-world problems. However, quite often they overlook the most crucial and practical business lessons, like how to network, how to find customers, or how to get a job. If you want to learn how to get a meeting with almost anyone, or take your career to the next level, then this course is for you. I've worked at Goldman Sachs. I've met with top business people, including Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and the founders of the biggest technology companies. And at the end of all my meetings with these visionaries, I've always asked them for advice on what made them so successful. And a lot of what they taught me is not taught in business school. So I put together a list of every lesson, and I've included it in this book and in this course. These lessons will help you take your career to the next level. It's exciting to reinvent yourself in ways that you never thought were possible, until you realize it is possible. Anything is possible, as many of my students that have taken this course have realized. I put all of my business knowledge and passion into this course, and I'm humbled to say that Business Insider wrote an article stating that my book, 101 Crucial Lessons They Don't Teach You in Business School, was voted as the #1 business book of the year. Also, Forbes magazine stated that this book is one of 6 books that every entrepreneur needs to read right now. So let me teach you about these crucial business lessons. Let's step out of business school and into the real world as we take your career to the next level. Good morning and welcome to our 82nd weekly webcast. If this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And so the way the call works is I answer questions over 3 hours. I answer any type of question you want to ask me. This is an AMA, like in Reddit. AMA means ask me anything. You can ask me business questions, personal questions, career questions, and the call never ever ends the call does end in 3 hours. Sorry, it used to go on forever. A little bit tired this morning, guys. Sorry. Having a senior moment here. The older I got, the better I was. The call ends in 3 hours. Type your questions now, please, and I'll answer them. And I answer the questions in the order in which I received them. So if I miss your question by accident, just paste it again. Or if I don't answer it correctly, then just put me on the spot. Sorry, a little bit tired this morning. That was to me. All right, good morning, John. John is from Rochester, New York. And John is saying, Peter Schiff. Not sure if you know him or not. He does something like you do on his chat, but you pay him more. Your name goes to the top. If you pay him more, your name goes to the top. Okay, yeah. So you asked my opinion on that. I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think for unless he's offering tremendous value, I don't believe that somebody should charge you to answer one question. So strange. I've never heard him. I'll take a little screenshot right now and I'll look into that. And give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to do a quick little sound check. We've got an unbelievable number of people on the call asking questions. So I want to make sure everything's working. So 1 second, please. And just in case you want to see what I'm doing, I'll bring you in the back room with me here. All right, hold on a second. Sound check. Yes, my opinion on that. Good. All right, we are good to go. Let me get back on track here. And there's just a ton of questions here this morning. Thanks, guys, for this. I appreciate it. I'm touched. So Subham is saying, hi, Chris. I wanted to learn valuation of a company. I've always used a multiplier of sales for it. Can you shed some light on the assumption in this process? Yeah. So there's several different ways to value companies. There's price to earnings, which most of us know and use. There's discounted cash flow. And there's also something called price to revenue. And the reason that you value companies based on price to revenue is because not all companies actually have earnings. And so a lot of companies that are brand new that just listed on the public markets, just went public, they don't have earnings yet, nor should they. because a lot of venture capital investors and growth investors want a company to not save a ton of money initially, but they want them to spend as much as possible to hire salespeople and grow as quickly as possible. And then they can basically turn on the profits much, much later by cutting expenses in the future. And so the only way to value a company like that, because they don't have earnings or cash flow, is through revenue. And so we look at what's called the price to revenue. Now, price to earnings, think of the formula. It basically means price on the numerator, earnings on the denominator, which means this. For every $1 in earnings on the denominator, for every $1 in earnings, how many times are investors willing to pay for that $1? If the company's growing fast, they pay way more than 10 times. If the company's not growing at all, they pay usually a lower multiple. When it comes to price to revenue, you use the same methodology. So for every $1 in revenue on the denominator, how many times are you willing to pay for that $1 on the numerator? And so with very high growth companies, it all depends on what the average multiple is in valuation for other companies in that sector. So in the cloud software market for years, the multiple was somewhere between 15 and 20 times revenue. And other industries are different. And the reason why investors love to pay a massive premium for cloud software companies is because there is that opportunity for these companies to make a fortune longer term. And revenue visibility is high because investors pay a lot for that. They pay a lot for good visibility. And subscription business models are great because that means that there's great visibility. So cloud software companies are subscription based. You kind of pay a subscription like you do for Netflix, for example, which is like a cloud video company. It's kind of like a magazine subscription. You know, you get lazy when it runs out, you don't even cancel your subscription. You keep getting magazines and paying. So the bottom line is, if you want to value companies that aren't profitable yet, you look at price to revenue, and to come up with the appropriate multiple, look at the average companies in that sector. Thank you. Melody, good morning. Melody is a teacher from Atlanta, and she recently started teaching online as well. Actually, she started several months ago. I'm happy for you. The timing is great. And she has two wonderful children as well. And she just put a couple courses online on Udemy, which is great. And by the way, if anybody's interested in learning more about how to teach online, I offer a couple of courses for free on Udemy. And actually, I think I still have all my courses for free. Let me show you that coupon, please, as I talk about my courses here. So let me, first of all, open up a new browser here. And you guys with me here? Good. All right. So let's go to LinkedIn, because on LinkedIn you can get the link to get all my courses for free. And what I'll do is I'm going to paste this link in for you guys to access here within the course, or within the chat here. Don't pay for my courses, please. All right, hold on. It's here. And I'm just going to copy this link here. Copy link address. And I'll click here just to make sure it's still working. And then what I'll do is I'll copy and paste it for you all. I extended the sale a little bit because some people didn't get my courses for free, and I want to humbly help if I possibly can. You know, we're all in this together. Good, it's still free. Okay, great. So what I'll do, and there's 71 people right now downloading all of my courses here for free, which is great. So let me paste this link right now for y'all so you guys can access it. It's right there in the YouTube message field. I just typed it under the picture of me there. Or what you can do is go to my LinkedIn profile and just click on that big yellow graphic on my homepage in LinkedIn. All right. And also, one more thing I want to show you before I go back there is this. Within here, I have a couple of courses on how to make an online course. And hold on one second. They're called 40 Tips. Here we go. Good. Yeah. So for a couple of years, what I did was every year I published a course called 40 Tips on how to make a great online course. And here I did another 40 tips on how to make a great online course. And they're both in here. You just got to search for it in this document. And they're basically courses on how to not make the same mistakes I make. So I've made a lot of mistakes teaching online. And I humbly want all of you to work smarter and not harder. And so I documented 40 of my biggest mistakes one year, and I did another course called Another 40 Tips on Making a Great Online Course. Again, you can get it from that link I just provided you with. Again, please don't pay for any of my courses today. I think I extended the sale for another day because we're all in this together. Okay. Okay. And then Melody is saying, I just wanted to thank you for sharing with everyone those free classes. Many people, including myself, are so grateful for this. Thank you, Melody. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. And you've been on this call before. We've done Zoom conferences with you. You're awesome. Your setup looks amazing too for teaching online. I think you mentioned you had a Canon M50, and the sound quality is great as well. I remember we did a webcast together a couple weeks ago, actually, on this during this weekly call. And what I'll do later is I might actually open up Zoom so that you guys can ask questions live, and we'll do it Brady Bunch style. We can get like 9 or more people on one screen at the same time. I'm dating myself. You guys probably don't even know what that means. Yeah. Next one is, please suggest on how to forecast different metrics for a startup without competitors, if at all, if they're a private company. Yeah. So the way that I forecast companies in general is I usually start with sales. And so for those of you not that familiar with financial modeling or financial statements, at the top of an income statement is revenue. And people call it sales as well. And spend most of your time forecasting what you think revenue is going to be in the future. Because most items become a percent of revenue. So for example, if you have $100 in revenue and you spend $1 on salespeople, and if you increase revenue to $1,000, then using 1%, you might actually have $10 to spend, or you should be spending on salespeople, that sort of thing. And you can take my complete financial analyst training and investing course for more details on that. It's free today and tomorrow, I think. Just go to that link I showed you guys a minute ago. So that's what I would do. Make everything a percentage of sales and then model it out in the long run. And then eventually, for you accounting purists out there, earnings and cash flow converge anyway. So I really do believe that if you just forecast on making the income statement and forecasting out many, many years, that's good enough. That's good enough. And then you can watch one of my finance courses for how to do a discounted cash flow analysis to bring those future earnings or cash flows into today's terms using the future and present value of money ratios. Yeah. Now, if it's a brand new market you're entering and you're not sure how to model growth, then what you can do is look at the total addressable market. So never start a company that has a small total addressable market. Because if you're right and you get 100% share, you get 100% share of a tiny little market. And it's hard to get 100% share anyway. So what I want you to do is make sure the market size is massive. And if you don't know the total addressable market, because it is a brand new company, a brand new market, there is a total addressable market because your company or business model will likely be disrupting another type of company or business model. I'll give you an example. So when Uber first started out, there was no online taxi market really. And so the total addressable market for the online taxi market was tiny. And so what they did was they actually looked at the global taxi market, the old school taxi market. And that's how they calculated the total addressable market in their investor slides. And if any of you are curious about how these great companies, how they marketed themselves and raised money for investors, I'm going to show you how to get their investor presentations. So you go to a website called slideshare.net. And what I'll do with all links is I'll paste it down here. Paste. There you go. So you can access it there in the group chat. And LinkedIn owns SlideShare, which is owned by Microsoft now. But here you can type in, for example, Airbnb. And you can see this here is Airbnb's presentation they use to raise money. Who would have thought that the most important hotel company in the world doesn't own a single hotel? Airbnb. Same thing with Uber. It's fascinating. Who would have thought that the biggest and most important taxi company in the world doesn't own a single taxi? But if you click here, you can see the slides that they used in order to raise money. And they do a brilliant job with this because they use what's called the power of three. And I really believe it when it comes to presenting as well. Most people cannot pay attention to more than 3 things on a slide. So check this out. Less is more too. And this presentation is 12 slides, which is the perfect length. 10 is even better. 3, okay? 3, you see 3 images, okay? 3, and here's the total addressable market as well. See the market size I was talking about. So the power of 3 is important. And you see it in great pictures too. Like beautiful pictures on the beach, you'll see 3 layers in the picture. you'll see the sky, the ocean, and the beach. 3 layers, the power of 3, rule of thirds. And we use it in photography, videography as well. It really comes in handy. So yeah, anyway, check that out if you want to. There's a lot of great pitches online there so that you can work smarter and not harder when you decide to build your own presentation for trying to raise money from investors. And I actually, every year, the French embassy here in the United States, they have HEC, which is a great MBA school from Paris. They have them come here, and I spend at least an hour presenting to them in the city on how to raise money. And so what I did actually was, one of the more recent ones, I actually put it online. So if you're curious about how to raise money, what you can do is you can actually go to my YouTube channel, or you can take my courses on all this stuff. And when you're at my YouTube channel, what you can do is you can actually search here for raising money or fundraising, I think. Let's see here. Here it is here. Yeah. So I made this video here on how to raise money from venture capital firms or high net worth investors. And this year, it was like an hour long or 50 minutes, whatever. That was episode 80. We're on episode 600 now, I think, or around there. We vlog every day. You can go and check this out if you want to. It's in high resolution. I'm going to lower the resolution so it doesn't chew up bandwidth here. But this was me actually driving to the events. Keep it real. And this is a little video I showed during the events, another little video, and then I do get up there and talk as well. Where am I here? Right here. Yeah, this is me. This is me, yeah. And this was actually in DocuSign's headquarters. They were nice enough to lend us their headquarters for a day there. Those are my kids, by the way. Oh, I was talking about the rule of 3 here, actually. And you saw those 3 pumpkins. Those are my kids. I was explaining Steve Jobs, how he uses the rule of 3 as well. And anyway, check that out if you want to. I had a lot of fun putting that together. Okay. Yeah, it's one of my many free resources. Most of them are. All right, let's go back over here. I'll paste that in, hit enter, and I will continue to read more questions here. Okay. Next up, what are the essential metrics, financial metrics that should be included in a private equity pitch in front of an investor for the earlier rounds? Thank you so much for your courses and everything you do. And you put a heart there right back at you. Lots of love to you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So let me first of all explain private equity because some viewers might not understand what that is. So private equity and venture capital are different things. Private equity is a pool of money managed by people that look for companies that are undervalued. And what they do is they buy those companies that are undervalued or invest a lot in them, and they turn them around. They might get rid of some of the management team members, and they'll try to juice the bottom line, meaning they'll cut expenses. And after they cut expenses a lot and the company's making a lot more money, then they'll sell the company back, either to the open market through an IPO or some other form. And there's a brilliant man named Carl Icahn, and he's a private equity activist investor. And what he did was he bought a lot of shares of eBay. And he got onto the board and he forced some of the executives to no longer be at the company anymore. And then what he did was he split eBay into 2 and unlocked a lot of shareholder value. He split it into 2 companies. The sleepy company eBay, which value investors love, and the high growth PayPal business which growth investors love. And you're either a growth investor or a value investor. You can't be both. And so what happened was when these 2 companies were spun off, growth investors loved PayPal, value investors loved eBay, and the sum of these 2 companies was much more than the individual company. And so Carl Icahn is a private equity investor. And what you can do actually learn more about this, and there's a wonderful movie you guys should check out. It's called Other People's Money with Danny DeVito. This is an oldie but a goodie from 1990, I think. Other People's Money, Danny DeVito. I don't know how to spell his last name. Yeah. So this is a great movie here. And it's about this guy named Larry the Liquidator. And what he does is he's a private equity investor. And he buys out a company in a small town and he starts letting people go. As with all Hollywood movies, the rich person ends up being the schmuck in the end and does the right thing as well, usually. But check this out if you want to, because this will explain exactly how private equity works. And it's a lot of fun, too. And Danny DeVito's the best. There's a link for you. I pasted it for you guys there. And it's called other people's money, or OPM. And I believe actually that when you start a company, I don't want you to use your own money unless you have a lot of it. What I want you to do is I want you to use other people's money, OPM. And I want you to hire a lawyer first to draft up your investor memorandum so that you got your backside covered and your family's protected just in case. And I want you to read this book of mine here. It's called Networking to Get a Job, Customers, or Anything You Want. It's a 200-page book. It's free. I guarantee you it'll help you raise money or it'll help you get a job. And I'm so convinced that my methodology, humbly, works for getting you a job that I actually have a lifetime money-back guarantee for my course called the Complete Job Course. However, you don't have to pay for that today or tomorrow. You can just go to that link I showed you earlier in this webcast and get that link or that course for free. But what you can do is go to my homepage, and I'll show this to you too. Haroun Ventures, and then just scroll down, and you can download this book for free right here. So yeah, and we've got other things here too, like my daily vlogs, press, all other stuff, whatever. We're on day 594. Yeah, okay, fun. Okay, now let me explain venture capital. So venture capital is a little bit different. Venture capital is also about investing in the private markets at times, but it's about investing in companies way before they do an IPO, way before. And you know, the great companies in the VC area include Sequoia, as well as Kleiner Perkins. And I used to work full time in the venture capital space, and I worked in the hedge fund industry and the consulting industry 2 years ago. That's how I know how to switch jobs every now and then. By the way, the reason I switched jobs a lot was because I didn't find my passion until now, teaching. I kept switching until I found my passion, and you guys all got to do the same thing too if you can. You know, take my job course for free. It'll help you find your passion and get your dream job. So that's the difference between venture capital and private equity. Now, in terms of valuation metrics that private equity firms look at, private equity firms love to buy companies that are cheap or look somewhat cheap. They're kind of like value investors, like Warren Buffett. So they love to look at companies that trade at a big discount to what they should be trading at. So they might have a low PE if they're publicly traded. If they're private, they might have wonderful cash flow. Okay, incredible cash flow and great EBITDA multiples as well, which basically means PE minus a couple of non-cash stuff. They also might trade below book value as well. So check out that movie, Other People's Money. It's a lot of fun, and I love edutainment, especially when it comes to business. And when it comes to business, yeah. It's so much more fun to learn if it's fun. It's more funner. I can hear my mom correcting me right now. She's saying, Christopher? All right. Okay. Next up, Melody is saying, how are your kids holding up working from home? They're great, actually. They're great. You know, it's tragic what's happened. And, you know, we are praying a lot as a family. And every night I'll say prayers with my kids. And then we'll watch trailers on the iPad or play a game, whatever. But they're good. They're holding up well. They're holding up well. They actually get to do school from home now. And so what they've done here in the San Francisco Bay Area is they've given Chromebooks. Thank you, Google. Google's a great company. They do a lot of good. Google makes Chromebooks. They've given Chromebooks to students, and the students work from home. And there's webcasts as well, kind of like this. Yeah, they're doing well. Dylan made a big fort in his room yesterday. I'll show you my kids, actually. Right here. And I've got this new camera angle I'm experimenting with overhead. So I'll show you here. Yeah. So here's my kids. This here is Andrew. This is Matthew. And this is Dylan here. And they're like sons to me. Here they are right here. And so Dylan is actually... Oh, that's Siri coming on for some crazy reason. But Dylan actually built a fort in his room yesterday, and in his little fort, what he's doing is he's actually he's got his.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
I hate SIRI. Does this happen to you guys as well, or just me? Just me on live calls. It happens all the time. But he's got a fort in his room, and he's learning in his fort on that little Chromebook thing. Yeah, let me put this here. Make sure there's no glare for you guys. All right, hold on one second. That's going to get in the way of the webcast. So they're doing great. Thank you. They're doing great. Everyone's happy. Everyone's healthy. And it's a great time to bond with your family too. It is. It is. I always try to see the positive things in life, and it's a great way for us to bond with our family and reconnect. And it reminded me a lot of when I was a kid, growing up in Bramalea in the 1970s. I am that old. And there was a blackout. And the electricity went out everywhere. And so what my parents did, what we did, was nobody went out to work, nobody went to school. We all went downstairs to the basement, and my mom and dad put a big blanket, it was a duvet, a heavy blanket, right on top of the stairs so that we wouldn't get the cold weather from Canada going down into the basement, whatever. But we were all stuck at home with that, and I remember that. I cherish those times. I remember it very, very well. I remember that, yeah. And yeah. So we get to bond. We get to reconnect with our family. We do. God willing, this is over soon, but we do get to reconnect with our family, which is a beautiful thing. And my kids will probably, they'll obviously never forget this ever again. And they'll look back on this and say, yeah, it was a terrible tragedy. However, I did get to bond with my dad and mom, and it was fun. And I remember back in 2009, right around the previous crisis, I was really stressed out, and I drove down one day. I took a day off work to Carmel, beautiful drive along the coast of California here. And I went for a walk, and I just happened to find an old Catholic church. And this is not a religious thing, but I went into that church and I sat down. I was just kind of collecting my thoughts. And a priest came up to me and he said, is everything okay, son? And I said, you're not my dad. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. He said, is everything okay, son? And I said, yeah, I just want to make sure that, I make a lot of money so I can, give my family everything. And he said something that kind of changed me. He said, my son, I said, you're not my dad again. He said, my son, 50 years from now, your kids are going to look back on you and they're not going to remember how much money you had. They're going to remember, were you there for them? What kind of a father were you? And so anyway, that kind of changed me, So we get to bond with our kids now. Next question is, how long do you think this will last? Many of the school districts say they're canceling school indefinitely. I don't know. I don't know. At least till the fall. At least for school, of course. I think school is done this year, and yeah. I don't know. And God willing, and knock on wood, that the summer months it gets hotter and it stops this virus from spreading. Apparently, the virus doesn't like heat. I guess I don't know. There's a lot of misinformation out there, but we're all doing our part, just staying home, doing what we can do. And there was somebody told me yesterday, and you hear so many things. I don't know if it's true, but I heard from a reliable source. Take this with a grain of salt. That the military in the United States is going to start monitoring to make sure that people stay home. So I don't think there's going to be martial law or anything nutty like that. Yeah, that's how serious people are taking it. And what I've done is I've got this hand sanitizer. Of course, you've all seen it before, this product. But this one I bought, actually, it's a knockoff. And you can actually still get them on eBay. Here it is right here. And you can even last week, actually, Melody, it was you who kindly shared with all of us how to make your own hand sanitizer at home. But what I've also done is I ordered, I bite my nails. It's a disaster. I always do, always have. And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree because my kids do the same as well. And so I bought this special nail polish. Yes, folks, I wear nail polish that I put on my hands, my fingers, and my kids as well, which makes it taste awful if you start to bite your nails. So we're doing what we can do here. When we get packages from Amazon, we actually don't touch them for 24 hours. So they just sit outside for 24 hours. If you're a burglar and you want to rob my house, screw you, because I got cameras everywhere. And we had around our neighborhood, we had a lot of people's boxes getting stolen recently. But we don't touch the boxes for 24 hours because we just don't know if there's going to be some sort of virus on it. But Amazon has just been a godsend. It's been amazing. And I really hope President Trump backs off and stops criticizing Jeff Bezos, because he's really doing his part in helping us with this crisis. Amazon is hiring 100,000 more people to help. So yeah, anyway, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. But I do think it's probably not going to, things are not going to return to normalcy. It just scared me until the fall. And my brother is a hero to me because he's a doctor, and he was one of the first guys to pick up on this, and he made us all stay home and stay safe and stuff. I didn't agree at first, but Jamie, you're right and I'm wrong. It's my brother. Yeah. Put that back there. Okay. Yeah. And it's killing me that you can see a little wire back there, but that's okay. I'm not going to be a perfectionist today, right? Oh, this glare has bothered me. There we go. All right. Next up, Samina, how are you? Samina in the house. Samina is Greek. She lived in Brussels. She's a flight attendant. I'm so sorry. I hope everything's okay with Ryanair, a great discount airline in Ireland. And you mentioned you were moving to Cyprus, but you do have a passion for video games. And you told me you were making an incredible open world video game that I'm going to promote the crap out of because I can't wait to try it. But God bless you. I hope everything's okay with you with respect, obviously, to the, yeah. Hopefully Ryanair is treating you well. And if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. And all my courses are free, as you know, for the next 1 or 2 days, whatever it is. And you could scroll down in the chat box here and go to the link that I provided. Great to hear from you. Great to hear from you. And Esme is saying, hello, Chris, hello, chat. I hope you're all doing well, hydrating and staying safe. Lots of love from Greece. Okay, you're back home. Good. I know you mentioned you were going to go visit Cyprus, but you're, but you're back home now. Good. Excellent. And Melody is saying, did you see the articles I published? Go to medium.com/MH education. I didn't see it. I'm so sorry. And for those of you who send me emails or LinkedIn messages, I'm so sorry if I haven't responded. I've received thousands of them over the past couple of days. It's been crazy. It's really hard for me to get through all of them. The best way to reach me is right here. But I'm going to take a screen print, Melody, and I will look for it. Thank you. All right, give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to do a quality check here. Okay, we're good. Okay. All right. Next up, EHP from TJ. That's your username is saying, good morning, everyone. Same to you. I hope everyone is safe out there, likewise. And Kunal, hey, Kunal, how are you? Kunal is from India. He's saying, good morning, Chris. Hope you and your family are doing well. Thank you. So I used to have almost 100% of my students were from the United States. Now I've got, I'm humble to say, I've got students in every country in the world. And the United States is now 33%. India is 11%. And Egypt is now 10%. I think it was like 80,000 new students yesterday in Egypt. Somebody shared my my Arabic version of an entire MBA 1 course. And it's great to have Egyptians on the call too. I hope if anyone there is from Egypt, hello, Khamsa. That's the only word I know in Egypt. In Arabic, when I was 5, I asked my dad, how do I say my age? And he said, Khamsa. So, Khamsa to you. High five. There we go. Hi, Khamsa. All right. And Kunal is saying, what exactly are bridge loans? It's like think of a bridge, right? It's a way to get you from here to here if you're in a pickle, if you need money badly. It basically means, hey, I'll help you out. Don't worry. Okay. And a lot of times they're short-term focused. Like in the corporate market, they're called commercial paper, which is how Goldman Sachs got started. They were in the commercial paper market last century. Yeah. And by the way, if any of you have a lot of outstanding loans, it's tough to even talk about this, but you got to look at your budget for the next 6 to 12 months and think to yourself, worst case scenario, if I lose my job, do I have enough money to live? And what I want you to do is I want you to call the bank and see if you can get an extension. And there's a lot of handouts from governments globally now. Governments are really working with people a lot. The Trump administration here in America, the Canadian government just signed a $10 billion bridge loan capacity, I think, for Canadians, which is a beautiful thing. Good job, Trudeau. But call the companies that you owe money to and ask them if you can get, number one, an extension. If it's a student loan, number two, you can ask, can I pay less? You got to ask. Sometimes they do it. Number three, can I get an interest rate cut? And then that sort of thing. And then also make sure that if you're going to do this, and one of my great students in Toronto named Andrew Dupree brought this up. He said, Chris, if you're going to look into that, make sure that you have students call credit agencies wherever you are in the world, just to make sure it's not going to impact your credit. Yeah, and for those of you that live in an apartment and you can't make rent, there's a lot of laws in many countries now that you cannot be evicted, meaning you cannot be kicked out of your house. So if you have to decide between rent and buying food for your family, obviously buy food for your family. You'll be able to pay the rent back later. And I'm smiling because I'm thinking of that politician who said the rent is too damn high. I don't know if you guys saw that YouTube video. Yeah, this is not a time to, you just got to ask for credit. And we're all doing what we can. Like, we're all in this together. I'm giving all my course away for free. I'm helping out a lot of my students, and we're all in this together. And so just ask friends for help. You know, make sure your boss understands. Like I told my employees, I said, look, if you and your families and your parents, etc., your loved ones are having issues, let me know. I'll take care of them. Even if it me paying their rent, I don't give a damn. We're all in this together. And so for all of you that have employees, please do the same thing as well. Do the same thing as well. Everybody wins. We're all in this together. Yeah. I love my employees. There's two guys I've got here. There's Matt and Wrigley, and I love them to death. They're family, and I'd be nothing without them. And so Wrigley, he heads up business development, and he's my COO, my Chief Operating Officer. And he was one of my students, actually, at San Francisco State years ago, and I used to teach in the evenings. He's great. And Matt Lacus, he's my incredible videographer. Got to turn the air conditioning off. It's getting too hot in here. He's my incredible videographer. So he helps with the videos for my MBA degree program, and we've already recorded more than 100 hours so far. So he's working hard on that. They're both at home right now. They're both safe, and we're very blessed. We all work remotely. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Kunal is saying, what are your views on President Trump's plan to send a 1,000 check to every American? I didn't hear that. But I think that's a wonderful thing. I think that if he announces it, I think there should be a patriotic move by those Americans that don't need it to be able to just decline it. And if it's 1,000 for every American, I think what should happen is there should be a voluntary process where it's much more than 1,000 for every American, because those that don't need it should give it to those that need it more. Yeah. But he's got to do whatever you can do. And the way that governments stimulate economies, there's something called monetary policy and fiscal policy. Monetary policy is when you cut interest rates a lot. And if interest rates are lower, obviously people are going to borrow more and they're going to invest more and pay back loans later, that sort of thing. Now, there's no bullets left in the chamber, so to speak, to jumpstart the economy when it comes to monetary policy, because rates are basically zero now. So the other lever you can use is fiscal policy, which means doing creative things to stimulate demand. It can be something as simplistic as cutting taxes or eliminating payroll taxes, or it can be, the crazy things they did in '08, including something called cash for clunkers, where the government would buy back old cars from people that put more money in their pocket and stimulate the economy. This is an election year too, and I know this is not supposed to be a political thing at all, but I'm so glad it's an election year, because it's gonna motivate everyone to be short-term focused, to do whatever it can politically to make sure that the number of deaths decreases materially, and we all get through this quickly and safely as well. And there's even a ship actually off the coast of where I live right here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I think it's here now or it's coming soon, which is a military ship. which has a hospital on it. So yeah, people are waking up finally and doing a great job with this. Yeah, and I got to give a shout out not just to my brother James for being all over this early, but also to my great students in my MBA degree program. Jason, who's from Australia, but he lives in Florida, as well as Andrew. Andrew, who's American but living in Toronto with his family. They both brought it to my attention, and yeah. So anyway, God bless them. God bless all of you. And I know we will get through this. Yeah. Okay. I love coffee. Sometimes I'll go to bed and I'm like, I can't wait to wake up so I can have coffee. And the reason why I have two of these things here is because I have it automatically heated to 139 degrees. This is coffee. This is hot water. And I have these because this is my job. I lose my voice sometimes teaching, but I have to have it. But basically, I'm drinking hot water because apparently, and this is the great thing about having a father and a brother that are doctors. Apparently, if you have the virus, and I'm pretty sure I don't have it, but I don't know. If you have the virus and you drink hot water, it will actually help to kill the virus inside you. Apparently, I'm not a doctor or whatever, but yeah. All right. Okay, next up, we've got Canal saying, I came across an interesting fact. From 2010 to 2019, the biggest U.S. airlines spent 96% of their free cash flow on buying back their own shares. That is interesting. That is interesting. Now, they probably don't have, they probably didn't make very much free cash flow anyway, but that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm sure they paid down as much debt as they could. Yeah, and so if the government doesn't backstop the airlines, yes, they will all go bankrupt. And they almost all went bankrupt back in 2008 as well. And 2008 was brutal, obviously, for the airlines. But the price of oil was $150 a barrel then, which is a disaster. Thank goodness for them. There's some light at the end of the tunnel that the price of oil is collapsing. But at the same time, we all know no one's traveling for quite a while, which means that this crisis we're in for the airlines is worse than after 9/11, where airplanes were empty for, I don't know, a couple of weeks. But I think there's going to be a lot of loans from governments. Kind of like what happened in 2008 with the auto industry. You know, Ford almost went belly up. GM, General Motors, people rebranded it Government Motors because they got a lot of money from the government. So, yeah. So, yeah, we're all in this together. All in this together. Yeah. All right. And I think that there will come a time very soon, I hope, where everybody will put pressure on every company on the planet to do something to give back. You know, a lot of companies make billions and billions and billions of dollars. You know, Apple has over $100 billion saved up. You know, what are they going to do to help their consumers? Yes, they closed all the Apple stores, but hey, man, let's do a one-time special dividend to give to people that need it. People that need it. And all it takes is one or two big companies to do that, and the rest will follow. Otherwise, it's a PR nightmare if they don't. We're all in this together. So, yeah. All right. Okay. And a lot of you talk to each other. You do the @ symbol to each other, and I love that. Please keep doing that. And we've got a Slack channel for my MBA degree students, too. They're great at it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. But just know that when you do the @ symbol in someone else's name, I don't read that. I'm figuring you're just typing into each other. But do more of that. Tan, it's been a while. How are you? Hi, Chris. Thank you for your advice. They're very helpful. Best wishes to you and your family. I'm intending to take a Udemy course watching your 40 piece of advice. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And take my other courses for free too. They're free, I think it's until tomorrow. Yeah. And if you're just joining the call, just scroll down here in the chat and you'll see I include a couple links. The first link for me is a link to where you get the courses for free on my Google in Google Docs. Yeah. So, or what you can do, just in case you're just joining us, this is important. I want to help. I'm not here to make money now. Okay. So you can also go to LinkedIn And if you're connected with me, hold on one second. I'm in private mode right now, but let me get out of private mode 1 second. New, Windows up, drag it there, and go. Here we go. So yeah. So go to my LinkedIn profile. It's the easiest way to mention it, and I'll give you the link in a second too. And then I go to me, I guess. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Yeah, here it is here. Yeah, free online courses. And there's another guy named Chris Dutton that did it as well. God bless him. He teaches awesome Excel courses. Learn from Chris. And his courses are free too. Just go to LinkedIn. You'll find it. I shared something from him. But anyway, here's the link here. I'm going to copy and paste it for you. But I want to show you what it looks like as well. So you click here. And it was initially supposed to be 3 days. And then some people complained I didn't get it yet. And I'm like, okay, fine, another 3 days. Yeah, let's do it. So what you do is you scroll down, you can access, and we got 71 people right now currently logged on downloading stuff from here. But this is like 18 pages or something, and you can get all my courses here. And so all you do, it's pretty simplistic, is you click here and then here as well. And I'm opening it in incognito mode because I don't want you guys to see other stuff. But anyway, this is one of the courses here. Yeah, so that's how it's done. And again, here is the link, which I'm pasting again for all of you. Share it with everybody, with your friends, your family, whatever it takes to keep people at home and happy and learning and their mind off of the craziness that's going on in the world today. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And somebody's got to create a news channel, and all they do is they talk about positive things. I'd subscribe to that. Yeah. All right. Next up is Dario. I hope you're well, buddy. I went to business school with a guy from Italy named Dario, and he used to say, "It's me, Dario." That's from Mario, of course. And Dario is saying, "Hi, Chris, and hi, everybody. Thank you for the incredible opportunity. You're most welcome." My questions today are, what do you think about the VIX index and the concept of buying volatility? Yeah. So for those of you not familiar with the VIX, it's a financial instrument from the CBOE in Chicago Exchange, that kind of deals with volatility. And so I used to own a ton of it back in 2008 when the world was ending. Its ticker is VIX. And what it is it basically measures volatility and the fear index. And the VIX is much higher today than it was even back in '08. It's terrifying. It's a fear index. I used to own a ton of it. Let me show you here. Here it is. Yeah, CBOE volatility index. And anytime you hear about Chicago or CBOE, just think of derivative stuff, rate of change stuff, instruments, futures, that sort of thing. Watch the movie Trading Places for more. But here it is here. Yeah, so you can buy this ticker if you want to. And then it measures the fear and the volatility. And volatility means stocks going up or down. So let me go here and get rid of other indices. And I will actually try to make this a maximum chart so I can show you what is going on here. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So let's go back. And I love looking at charts because basically a chart can kind of tell you a story. Every chart tells a story. Every picture tells a story. So right here, the VIX was up here at over 70 in 2008, right here. Okay, and people were scared then, obviously. And back here around 9/11, the VIX reached around this point here. So people were more scared from a market's perspective in 2008 than they were in 2001. 2001 was awful. In 2008, though, we were within 24 hours of bank machines not working. And we look back here and you see other spikes. Like here is this was the Asian contagion, which has nothing to do with the virus. It's just people called it Asia falling, Asia contagion back in 98 because there's a lot of issues with Southeast Asian tigers. The country's growth was slowing. And back here in the early 90s, we had the Latin American debt crisis. But if you go back here more recently, it's at like an all-time high now. It's frightening. It's frightening. And so a lot of people are piling into this. I prefer that instead of being a short-term focused investor, that you roll up your sleeves and you actually just do the work on individual investments. and think long term. As Warren Buffett said, the longer the view, the wiser the intention. And I don't want you to rely on anybody, including me, for advice on which stocks to pick. My job is not to give you a fish, but to teach you how to fish so you can eat for a lifetime. And so you can take my courses on Udemy. Again, they're free today and tomorrow on finance. Take my complete financial analyst training course, because in that course, I teach you how to analyze stocks from scratch. And I don't think you should ever buy a stock without doing a one-page write-up first. It makes you disciplined. And if you do one-page write-up first, halfway through the write-up, you might say, oh my gosh, this investment sucks. I'm not going to buy it. It'll stop you from panicking as well. So check out the complete financial analyst training course for more details. Again, it's free. Thank you. Next question from Dario is, if short selling is prohibited, is it possible to buy inverse ETF, or is it prohibited? That's a great question. Yeah. So what happened was, let me explain short selling really quickly. So when you buy a stock, you're long the stock. It's like football. It's like American football. Go long, right? Yay, goal. Hopefully the stock works. Stock goes up. The opposite of buying a stock, meaning the opposite of going long a stock, is shorting a stock. And so when you short a stock, you make money when the stock goes down. Now, in 2008, in September, the United States government did something very controversial. And I was managing my hedge fund at the time. They announced that it's against the law to short the following 800 stocks. And they listed a ton of banks, auto companies, etc. And so they could easily do that right now. Easily do that. And what happened was in September of 2008, after Lehman Brothers collapsed, what happened was when the government announced that it was illegal to short 800 stocks, the market went up big time the next day because everyone was covering their shorts. And we didn't cover a single one. But what happened was then the market crashed after that. Yeah. I mean, the government's doing everything they can. They've got a big bazooka trying to stimulate the economy. Doesn't seem to be working yet. God willing, it does soon, though. Yeah. So, and you mentioned ETFs. So ETFs, for those of you not familiar with it, means exchange traded funds. It basically means you can buy an index. So if you type in the ticker SPY, that basically is the S&P 500, which is you can buy 500 stocks that represent the U.S. economy. If you buy EWC, that's the Canadian index. If you buy EWZ, that's the Brazilian index. Yeah. And in terms of, I don't know about regulation. Might be if they make that illegal. I'm sure they will. If they make all stocks shorting illegal. And Dario's saying, stay safe wherever you are. Together we'll make it. Yeah. United we stand. Amen. Yeah. And for me, and I am religious, I tell myself, God already knows what's going to happen. And that puts me at ease. Okay, next up, Creature saying, hello, Chris. I'm a 16-year-old. Welcome. And I'm really inspired by the way you help others. Thanks. You're most welcome, Creature. And thank you for coming to the call. And there's actually, you're gonna love this. Give me 1 second. One of my amazing students, Juan David, who is originally from Venezuela, had a very, very tough upbringing. He and his mother left Venezuela, and he's actually, I think he might have just turned 17. He's given 2 TEDx talks. He's really inspirational. I want to show you his book. You got to read it. One second. He sent it to me. So my students write a lot of books using my template. Oh, and by the way, if you want to write a book, Creature, I'd love for you to write a book as well, because I'd love to show it here on the air. But if you want to write a book, anybody can do it. All my books I've written with a template I'm going to show you. If you know how to use Microsoft Word and a browser, you can write a book. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. I'll show you quickly where to get the template. And then I'll show you Juan David's book, which is amazing. You're going to love it. So all you do is you go to my website, harounventures.com/write book. That's all lowercase, okay? And I'm going to paste that for you guys in a second in the YouTube messages there. Then you go here, and then you download a really easy to use Microsoft template. And it costs you nothing. I don't ask for your email or anything, of course. And it'll explain on page 1 how to get your book published on Amazon Print for free, Amazon Kindle for free, and Amazon Audible for free. And here it is. It's a real, and also how to get your your logo done as well, or the cover graphic of the book, that sort of thing. And you just fill this template in, and then you just, it's that simple. But I want to show you one of the books, and these are some of the books my students have written. The first one, actually, I got to give a shout out to Phil Germany. Phil wrote the first book, and it's very prophetic that the name of the book actually is, he called it Super Students. Let me show you this camera here. He called it, watch the glare, Super Students, about chess. It's awesome. And he used my template. A lot of my students have done it. Yolanda has. Yolanda's in my MBA degree program. So is Eric from the Netherlands. He's a great guy. He's awesome. But this here is, this is Juan David's. And this book is amazing. Okay. So, and on the back, and he wrote, it's called Generation Optimism, right? And Juan, I think this should be a damn bestseller right now if you're on the call, brother, because we need this more than ever right now, optimism. And let me show you actually the book close up. So the Chicago Tribune, I don't know if you can read that. Let me zoom in a bit. This is a great read, dude. All right. So the Chicago Tribune actually profiled his book right here. Look at this. They said Juan David easily could be described as a Renaissance man at the top. And I'm humbled to say that I also wrote something here. But it's a good read. Again, it's called Generation Optimism. I love it. Red means a sense of urgency. A bull means bullish, like a bull market. I love it. I love it. Juan David, if you're on the call, you inspire me. And Creature, download that template as well and write a book. Imagine how awesome it'll be when you go to job interviews in 2 years for full-time work, whatever, and bring your book. Imagine how awesome it'll be if you apply to Harvard and you submit that book with your application. Yeah. You got to do it. Most people won't. Most people won't. And that's a beautiful thing, because that means less competition for you, Creature. But Creature, welcome to the call. Thank you for your kind words. And you all inspire me much, much more. And when one teaches, two learn. And Juan David is here. Oh, awesome. Okay, Juan David, great. Juan is saying, hi, Chris. I hope you're doing well. I am, thank you. Hope you and your family are doing well in these tough times. Thank you. Wow, what are the coincidences, man? That's so fun. I swear to you, I didn't see your name. But again, that's Juan David's book here, which everybody has to read. And then Creature is saying, and Creature is spelled Kreacher, is saying, my questions are, number one, how do we be more creative and humorous while giving business plan presentations? Yeah. Oh, dude. Okay. You got to take my, You've got to go over here and take my complete, what's it called again? My complete presentation course. So go to this link here. And what I'll do is I'll actually paste the actual link for you. So this course here, it's literally like 16 hours long or something. And it teaches you everything you need to know about public speaking. Everything, dude, from scratch. And after you finish this course, you'll love it. It's free for now, too. And the promotional trail, you got to watch as well, because we actually filmed it at San Francisco. We still recording here? Good, yeah. Filmed at San Francisco State. Best students ever. I love them. You know, they're not entitled at all. The best. And I've taught everywhere. And what I did was we had this film crew. Adad's his name, actually, is the brilliant man who actually went to San Francisco State that made all my promotional trailers. And he's actually making, we're working on a trailer for my MBA degree program. And he scripted it, and it's brilliant. And I'm a pilot in the trailer. and I go to regular class on the airplane, and I say, you've all been upgraded to business class. And then, anyway, it's kind of fun. We're working through it now. But this here is the trailer, and I got to show you this here. This is kind of funny. Okay, right here, I kept cracking up with this scene here because we had to get a permit to record in front of the Golden Gate Bridge here, and I had no idea. This is nutty, but it was naked day on the beach that day. They have this. It's out there. Yeah, the left coast, exactly. So these people were naked. And so I had to actually put my hands out and walk this way and this way to block them, because we had the perfect sun. See how it's hitting half my face? It was perfect. We wanted to get a great shot at it. But I kept cracking up because of that. But anyway, and then what we also did was we rented the Castro Theater just in the morning. It was cheaper to do it then. It was great. We had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, my son Dylan's in it too. Yeah. So check this out. I promise you this will help you to give, as you mentioned, a humorous speech and a great speech, and love it up there as well. And this is coming from a guy that used to be terrified of that sort of thing. Yeah. All right. So here's the link. So enjoy. And if you have questions, ask in the course or ask here every week, please. I'm here to help humbly if I can. Okay. Next one is Juan David is saying, it was really inspiring to offer your courses for free for everyone who is at home now. That's empowering. That says a lot about the type of person you are. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to help people fall asleep. You know, I hope my courses aren't boring. Some of them probably are. And then Juan David is saying, I'd like to ask you a few questions today. And every time you ask questions, Juan David, from now on, or anybody that's written a book, I'm gonna hold it here just for fun in front of me. All right. So Juan David is saying, I recently started a website / blog and would like any feedback you provide. I really appreciate it. Here's my website, juandavid.com. And smart how he did it. You see here, he did space and then .com. That's how you include websites here. Otherwise, they just don't go through. YouTube blocks them for some dumb reason. So let me go here and let's go together. I can't believe it's week 82 already, man. Right here. All right. This is Juan David. Okay, cool. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Juan David, dude, 16 years old, or maybe he's 17 now. He's given 2 TEDx talks. He's written a book. Unbelievable. This is amazing. Yeah. So you want a feedback. So I don't know how this looks on mobile, but hopefully on mobile, you've got that little menu drop-down thing on the side here. It's kind of hard to read this here. I'd recommend putting maybe red behind here as well. Yeah, kind of like the color red here. It just kind of pops nicely. Yeah. And what I would probably do, I'd probably add author here as well. And then you can even have make these hyperlinks. Like they click here to go to your TEDx talk, and author, they click here to go to your book, that sort of thing. There it is. Read my latest articles. Excellent. Hey, dude, this guy looks a lot like Bradley Pitts. Who's that guy again? We took that picture right by the airport in Prague. Yeah. Well, your website's perfect now. No, I'm just kidding. It looks great. Yeah. What I would do is, okay, if you're trying to start an email list, I would have it automatically. I would have it automatically pop up as well, if you can do that, if you're trying to get emails. And I do that too. And email is still the gold standard, right? I know it sounds old school, but that's important. Have it pop up. Yeah. And I would add an inspirational quote as well, right? Like this one here or something. And I know it sounds like, oh, I don't know, am I bragging? But if you don't remind people of your successes and whatever, then nobody will ever know, right? But that's what I do. But it looks good though, man. It looks good. Good for you. Make sure you repurpose all your content. And probably the best advice I can give you, Juan David, is there's this guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, and this goes for anybody out there who wants to do social media stuff. He's from New York. He's a bit abrasive, but you grow to love him after a while because he's very transparent. I like him. And what you do is go to his website, just search for Gary V. Okay. And then he's got this great presentation here called 86 Pages of Insanity. And all it is 86 slides on how to do social media. And he'll walk through what's called the content pyramid, which means this. You create content and then you repurpose it elsewhere, right? And that's how you make money. That's what Nintendo has been doing for years with their games. You know, the old 8-bit, 16-bit, and Mario 64, they're available on other platforms now. They keep repurposing it. But what you can do to repurpose this is every day put a chapter on your blog and write, this is an excerpt from my book. That's what I did. Don't cut the whole thing, but do a lot of it. Do that in LinkedIn as well, please. Yeah. And so just go through his slides here. And I've started to do this as well. We finally started doing Instagram videos, and Twitter videos, I think. We just started, yeah. So anyway, yeah. That's what I recommend. Wow, 373 comments. It's amazing. This guy's got so many people following him. It's unbelievable. Oh, and if you're not sure which social media platforms to use, go down to the bottom of Gary Vee's website. And this is just something I came up with. No one else talks about this, but look at the social media icons he has in this order, because this is what's important and what's not. He used to have, I think, Method there. He got rid of it. I got rid of my Method account as well. So he starts with Instagram, then YouTube, then Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. I don't know how to use that in my business. But what I'm probably going to be doing soon, though, is I'm going to start broadcasting on Twitch as well. And I'll explain how in a second. Podcast, audio is big, and LinkedIn obviously is huge as well. I completely agree. And so what I'm going to be doing, and I'll show you actually, if you're curious on how I do all this, there's a product similar to what I'm about to show you called OBS, which stands for Open Broadcast Software, where you can do all this stuff for free. But I'm going to show you the software product I use. And I never get comped by anybody ever for showing you any products. I just want to humbly help. So what I can also do here is so I'm doing a YouTube call now, as you can see here, okay? And then what I can do is I can actually add other streams. So at the same time, I can actually broadcast on LinkedIn Live, also on Vimeo, which no one uses, Twitch, etc. Microsoft Stream. Microsoft's trying to buy their way in the market by making Ninja exclusive now to them, not Twitch. But anyway, that's another way to do it if you're curious. If you're curious, yeah. So, all right, I make all the mistakes so you guys don't have to. All right, next up is Alex saying, hey, Chris, big fan of yours. Thank you. Appreciate it. Can you please recommend what kind of portfolio investments I should make during this turbulent times? Yeah, the best thing I can recommend is roll up your sleeves, do a lot of research on companies that you want to hold forever, do a write-up on them, take my complete financial analyst course, because it'll teach you how to do these write-ups. You know, my job is to teach you how to fish, not give you a fish. I say it with love in my heart. But here it is right here. And what I'll do is I will paste this. Let me go to here, make sure link is working for free. Good. 1 day left for free. I will copy this. And then what I'll do is I will paste this here for you. And please watch that course. Ask me questions here or in the course or both. I don't care. I'm here to humbly help if I can. It's free. That will help you create your write-up. And nobody is smarter than you. Always do your own research. And don't be intimidated by those pundits on TV that speak gooder than me, that give you advice on what to buy, because they're all biased. Because they probably own those stocks. Or if you see a CEO interviewed on television, don't buy their stock. Be careful, man, because those CEOs, those are the best salespeople in the world. That's how she or he made CEO. They're great salespeople. So always do your own homework. Never rely on anybody, including me, please. Do your own research. I provide you with the tools on how to do that. So check out that course if you want to. Thank you. But I always love to ask myself, in 5 years, will this company be more relevant or less relevant than it is today, or this industry? And that will stop you buying value trap ideas like Yahoo years ago when it was cheap, but Google was still taking a ton of share. All right. And then one is saying, I'm starting to write a few articles every week, and getting feedback is an important part of the writing process. What would you advise me to get constant quality feedback on my essays and articles? Yeah, great question. So what I recommend doing is posting your articles on LinkedIn, and you'll get feedback. People are pretty transparent. They're pretty transparent. It's good. Like for example, with my book, 101 Crucial Lessons They Don't Teach You in Business School, I made a bunch of typos, like not spelling mistakes, but just grammar mistakes. I missed a comma here and there, whatever. And I would paste those articles actually, part of some of the 101 chapters on LinkedIn, and people would give me feedback. Like people would actually say it. It's not just your mother that corrects your grammar. It's other friends or people that follow you on LinkedIn. That's what I recommend doing. And also, for any of you out there thinking of giving a TEDx talk or a speech or whatever, what I did for my TEDx talk, which you can watch on my YouTube channel, what I did was I actually typed it up and I shared it as an article on LinkedIn. and I waited to see what feedback I was going to get. I got a lot of positive feedback on it, so I was like, oh, okay, great, that's my topic for my TEDx talk. That's what I did, yeah. And what some people do, and you can do this if you have a budget in a company, is you can go to surveymonkey.com and you can pay and select any demographic you want and ask them questions in a survey. Yeah. And Alex is saying, is Bitcoin / gold a good bet? I'll leave it up to you, but usually gold is a fear factor index, and gold massively outperforms when people are freaking out. In terms of Bitcoin, I'll let you decide. You can take my complete cryptocurrency course, which is 24 hours for free, where I will provide you with a framework of 49 steps for analyzing a cryptocurrency company. And be careful, because most of these are a scam and people will go to jail for pumping and dumping. But there's the link for you there. Yeah, so check that out, please. And I'm actually mining on the floor here. You can't see it. I can pick it up if you want me to. I'm mining Ethereum. I was teaching my MBA degree students how to do this. And you can actually look at my miner in real time. It's called the Haroun Ventures Miner. And it's online right now. And yeah, it's down there. I can pick it up and show you guys if you want. We've done it in previous webcasts, so I'm not sure if you guys want me to go there. But the money automatically gets sent directly to my public key, which is I have on Coinbase. This is the name of my miner, and you guys can access it for free. It's part of the blockchain. It's open. It's out there forever. Great transparency. That's what blockchain is. Yeah. All right. I own 4 cryptocurrencies. Doesn't mean you should, but I'll tell you which ones I own. I've owned them forever, and I'm never selling. So I do own Bitcoin. I own Ethereum. I own Litecoin, and I own some Ripple as well. And the founder of Ripple lives around the corner from me here. Yeah. Ripple is the crypto for financial services. Yeah. All right. All right. Melody is saying sound is good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I asked earlier if I can get feedback on the sound. Thanks. And Alex is saying if a person wants to work with or for you, how can he achieve that? No, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm going to be hiring a bunch of my students later this year. So look at my website, harounventures.com, and at some point I'll put up a jobs link when we have a bit more time. I've outsourced a lot of things, and I want to outsource more to my students. Yeah. Again, my COO, my right-hand man, Wrigley, and he's had a business development too. He was one of my students at San Francisco State, which has the best students on the planet. The best. Yeah. Thank you, though. All right. And John is saying, can you explain the repo market? It basically means fixed income instruments like bonds, whatnot, where you repurchase them, that sort of thing. I'm not an expert in that area. I'm so sorry. All right. Next up is Snoop 101, who's got the coolest name ever. And every time I see your name, I always tell you my wife only bought one tape in her entire life. She never bought a CD, never downloaded a song, never bought an album. She bought one tape, which was Snoop Dogg back in the 90s. Yeah. Pop it like it's hot. I think so. Or gin and juice. Got my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Himanshu, how are you? Every time I see your name, I think of Himanshu, a great guy that I mentored when I worked at Accenture. He lives in Russia, but he's from India originally. It's great to have you. You wrote, hope you're doing well. Likewise, thank you. And then Stavros wrote, hey, Chris, wow, thanks for this. My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. Thanks. And actually, my son, Matthew, he started streaming as well, like video game streaming. And dude, he's starting to make like a lot of money. It's crazy. And he has a subscription service, whatever. It's fun. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He takes after his mother. He's got his mother's business sense. Yeah. All right. And then Melody said, thank you. I'll participate on the Zoom call. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. And I might turn it on soon. I had some audio issues this morning. I always have backup audio just in case. I'm not that guy that over prepares for everything. Like right here, I don't know if you can see it. I've got a Blue Yeti here that's currently on mute. It's ready to be turned on just in case. I've got lots of cameras, backup plan. I'm that guy that shows up and does a presentation and actually brings 2 laptops just in case. Only the paranoid survive, right? In business. Okay. And then Tim wrote, yes, I love that you just offered your classes on Udemy for free. Thank you. And you wrote free all in caps. Reminds me of my late great-grandfather. He used to write emails to me in caps. Doesn't mean he was yelling at me. I'm just kidding. Thanks. Miss you, Grandpa. And my grandpa used to always tell me, Krishy, buy land. They're not making it anymore. And he's right. They're not. And then you wrote, it truly speaks volumes to your character, sir. Thank you. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Thank you. Gregory in the house. Hey, Gregory, are you watching Succession still? Great show, right? On Showtime, I think, or HBO. You can watch the reruns. The best business show on TV now. I love it. It's hysterical. Macaulay Culkin's brother is in it. He got nominated for an Emmy. It's great. But I always think of you because the funniest character's name is Gregory in that show. It's great. And Joao's in the house from Brazil. Hope you're doing well, bud. It's been a while. Wanted to say, Chris, I want to start by thanking you for releasing your courses for free. Cryptocurrencies have gone down for a while together with the global economy. Any comments on how coins are going to develop? Yeah. So I recommend taking my complete cryptocurrency course because I provide you with a framework of 49 steps to help you decide which cryptocurrencies to buy. And it reminds me of a quote from Warren Buffett. He said the New York Stock Exchange is the only store where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. Think about that. And by the way, when Warren Buffett backs up the truck, that's when you got to, I know you got to do your own research always, but sometimes following the smart money makes sense. He did that actually in November 2008. He bought a lot of Goldman Sachs shares, preferred shares on the cheap. And you also want to watch for IBM. You know, historically, in previous bear markets, and I used to invest in software and internet companies for many years. When IBM does sizable acquisitions, that tends to mark a bottom for the tech market. And I've got lots and lots and lots of examples. If you go back to 2002, Hewlett-Packard was trying to buy PricewaterhouseCoopers for $18.3 billion. The deal didn't go through. 2 years later, IBM bought them for $2 or $3 billion. Fast forward to 2006, summer 2006, when the markets pulled back a lot because you had a rookie Fed chairman, Ben Bernanke, raising rates at the time. That spooked everyone. The summer 2006, IBM bought FileNet, right? Another example was February, I think, of 2009, or February or March, which basically marked the bottom for the S&P then, when it got down to 666, generational low. IBM tried to buy Sun Microsystems. Now, Oracle trumped the bid. But it still signaled that IBM's timing was great. So you want to watch what IBM does. Watch what IBM does, and also watch what Warren Buffett does. One data point doesn't make a trend, but 2 does. Okay. And then John from Rochester is and John, I thought of you because I want to show you something. So this setting here I've got for my, I'm teaching my MBA degree students. We're going through my book in detail this week, and so I set up all this stuff around me because it's kind of a personal thing for me. You know, I'm opening up to my students and discussing my love for baseball, and that's the first ticket actually from the first Blue Jays game ever in 1977. They made really big tickets back then. That was Phil Dunphy, Chris Haroun dad humor. Never again, I promise. But I put all this stuff around me, stuff that changed my life. Like my dad bought this computer for me years ago, and I went to this awful school where the students wanted to fail me in the 6th grade and the 8th grade. I'll never mention the school, but they do ask me to come back and speak all the time, and I never will. But they wanted to fail me in the 6th grade and the 8th grade, and they sent me to this learning disability center to get tested in Oakville, Ontario, on Lakeshore Road, called Chisholm. And but my parents stood behind me the whole time, which is awesome. But my dad bought me this, and that changed my life. I started not failing school because I found my passion, which was technology and programming, which I loved as well. And and this is my most prized possession. I'll show you. My dad, I got to switch cameras for this. So this was 1980. I was 7. It was January 1980 in Jamaica. We were on vacation, and my dad and I went for a walk on the beach. And there was a bunch of bamboo that was cut up and it was dark green. This was dark green at one point. And we went back, and while I was swimming, my dad, he borrowed a pocket knife from this really nice Arabic guy that was also vacationing there. And my dad carved on this, and he carved, and I'll show you up close here. This means more to me than anything else I have. So that's my name. And then here, Jamaica, January 1980. So, but what I wanted to show you actually, what I want to show you, Mr. John Clee, is this. My favorite player at the time was Don Mattingly, and I had this up initially, and I didn't put it up. I didn't find space for it, but this guy was my favorite player growing up. He was awesome, and this is just a big baseball card. It's actually a file folder, right? So for Don the Hitman Mattingly, yeah. So anyway, thinking of you. I know you're from Rochester, New York State, and you're a Yankees fan, I think. Yeah. All right. And so John is saying, how do small businesses keep relevant through these times where stores are mandated to close? How do we keep our name and brand out there? Yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough. So I have one of my students named Jose. He lives in Brooklyn. And his business is he helps a lot of small businesses get payment systems set up, kind of like Stripe or Square, but cheaper. And he's got a lot of clients in Brooklyn, laundromats, restaurants, etc. And so I told him, and he asked me the other day during the MBA degree program class, I said, you've got to, in times like this, you got to be there for your customers. A company is only as good as its customer service. You got to call all your customers and let them know that you're on call 24/7, 365 to help them, whatever it takes to get through this awful moment. You got to do that. And big companies can't do that. They're bureaucratic. Like, try calling Comcast, cable company, which I think you might have there in New York State as well. I do here. You'll be on hold forever, even in normal times. It's disastrous. A company is only as good as customer service. So I recommend that you reach out to all your customers and help them out and offer as much as you can. And I really believe in give and take. Meaning if you give with your heart, you will receive in the long run. It's prophetic. It's been true since the beginning of time. And it's the crux of networking and my philosophy on business as well. So reach out to all your existing customers if you have any sizable ones. And hold their hands and assure them that we're going to get through this and you're going to offer incredible support. That's what I would say. Yeah. And find a way to, if your business is bricks and mortars, meaning store only, find a way to, sell your product a different way. It might be online, might be another way. I have a really good family friend, and they started this great company called Saj here in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is like Chipotle, Mexican food, but it's for Arabic food. And his business is insanely great. It's awesome. He's got Saj locations everywhere. It's really good, and they make good falafel. And I teased him. I said, your tagline should be, our falafel doesn't make you feel awful. Dad humor, sorry. But what he's doing is he's found a way to be able to deliver food, right? So he can open his stores, I think, and just have delivery, right? So you can do takeout. So find a way to embrace what's happened, to add value to your customers this way, okay? Maybe it's delivery. If you have a product and you have a lot of customers that come to your store, maybe you reach out to them and say, I have delivery service as well. You send out a mass email or a LinkedIn message saying, I want to thank all my customers in these tough times. Just so you know, we do offer delivery as well. Okay, so you can do that. And then many years from now, you might look back and say, this whole awful event was kind of a blessing in disguise, as strange as that sounds, because it forced me to reinvent my business models and figure out ways to add value using clicks and mortar instead of bricks and mortar, so to speak. That's what I would say. And you can always find side hustles online. Like you could actually go to Fiverr.com, that's Fiverr.com. And you can do stuff there as well and charge for it. Like, for example, there's this wonderful woman from Bangladesh that's made the cover of all my books. Her name is UltraCon22. And she's on Fiverr, and she covers all my books. So do something you're passionate about online. Go to Fiverr and see what other people are doing. Compete with them. Or make a course on Udemy. Take my courses on, I have a couple of free courses called, my courses are all free today and tomorrow. I have a couple of free courses called 40 Tips on How to Make a Great Online Course. Take those courses and start teaching from home. Dude, anybody can teach online. Anybody can teach. There's this great woman I wrote about in my Inc. Column years ago. It keeps happening, sorry. I wrote about my Inc. column years ago. Let me just put this down here. Hold on, guys. It actually fell on my mining computer, so hold on. That's fine, yeah. So there's this incredible woman who I wrote about in my Inc. column years ago, and her name is Teresa Greenway. And she had this awful husband that was beating her. It was terrible. And they were dirt poor. She had the courage to leave that bastard and bring her kids with her. And she was living off of food stamps. And she's like, well, what do I do to pay the bills? And she thought, what do I love doing? And she loves baking bread. How prophetic. And so what she does is she makes a lot of money teaching how to bake bread. And she makes money here on Udemy and Go Away Bucks and a bunch of other places as well. So just think about what you're passionate about doing and go to Fiverr and kind of explore. And even Ninja, like for those of you that play Fortnite, like my kids do, crazy, it took over my house. And they're not allowed to play Fortnite while I'm doing my webcast. They know that. It's a rule. It's a rule. It's the stupidest thing. You ever watch your kids play Fortnite? Dude, when somebody comes up to you to try to shoot you in that game, if you jump up and down a lot, like you don't get shot. Like it's the stupidest thing. It's crazy. That's not good self-defense, jumping up and down. Don't do that. Way off topic. But anyway, the guy that makes millions of dollars every year streaming Twitch, which is Amazon's video service, he started out teaching here on Udemy. Here he is. Ninja's Guide to Streaming. Grow your channel. Yeah. So that's how he started out. Yeah. So anybody can do it. And when one teaches, two learn. Anybody can do it. If you love esports, if you love, I don't know, anything, teach your passion, man. Everybody has something to teach. Everybody does. Everybody does. Look at a lot of people are teaching esports. Oh my God. Counter-Strike Global Offense. Play like a pro. Dude, I never knew about this. 5,000. What the hell is this? Esports is a massive market, man. I've got a great quote from Michael Jordan on my wall there, but I think that people that play video games are going to make way more than professional athletes in the future because it's scalable globally. All right, I'll shut this down, but I think you get the idea. And so if you go to Fiverr.com, all right, good. Here you can basically you can do anything and sell your services for at least $5, right? And so this person here says, I will make your business logo starting at $5. I think I hired Sarah actually before. It's funny. Yeah, I did actually. I did. I'll show you my orders. Yeah, I will make your business logo. This is her, I think. Yeah, right here. Yeah, Sarah. Years ago, I hired a couple of years ago. So what she did was I had her actually make my Morgan Haroun Sachs logo for one of my courses. A very long and not so rich history since 2017. That was 3 years ago. Yeah, she made it. It cost me $5. She did it overnight, and she did a couple different versions as well. $5 in 24 hours. She made it. Yeah, a bunch of others, whatever. Simplistic, but whatever. And the same thing with like in some of my courses, I'll have voiceovers from celebrities sometimes, just for fun, whatever. And I actually did that. I did Will Ferrell. I also did, for those of you who took my cryptocurrency course, some dude doing the Doc from Back to the Future. I paid more for this one, obviously. Yeah, whatever. But you can get anything done you want to there. So check that out if you can. Yeah. And there's Upwork as well and a bunch of other services. But start with Fiverr. It's the easiest one to get started on. Oh, I also have a course called the Complete Business Plan course you should take because it'll teach you how to start a business. And most people don't write a business plan before they start a company. And failing to plan is planning to fail. I'll give you my link to my business plan course for free right now. So let's go over here. Find business plan. Here it is here. And I recorded the trailer for this one actually in Brazil. I was a company sent me down there to give a speech, a I keynoted some speech, and so what I did was I got my camera out, and I recorded by the beautiful Jesus statue, and I threw up my drone. This is all drone shots here. I've been in that Sugar Mountain. I'm droning as much as I can, or used to at least, until they make it illegal. But anyways, it was kind of fun. Yeah. All right, let's go here. I'll copy this and give this to you right here. But while you're home, write a business plan. Failing to plan is plan to fail. That course will help you write a business plan. I give you 75 different templates on how to do so as well in that course. Yeah, it's free. All right. All right. Next up is Melody. Thank you for the slides, Chris. I need to prepare a proposal next week. My pleasure. And then Greg wrote, Chris, you have blinking eye. Oh, thank you. And what Greg is actually referring to is we had a bit of an issue with the technology. So YouTube was thought I was doing green screen, or the engine here, I think, and because I've got a Wirecast engine, because I have green eyes. Thanks, Mom. Just kidding. Because I have greenish eyes. The green screen gets rid of your yeah. So sorry about that. Yeah, green screen is off now. Hopefully it should work. Let me know if you still see the blinking part as well. Yeah, you don't realize that, but a lot of people that have green eyes and they're in movies and they do green screen, they have to wear contacts. Yeah, to mask it. Yeah. So, and a lot of people use blue screen as well. And the reason they choose blue or green is you pick a color that people usually don't wear. People usually don't have green eyes. People usually don't wear green as much, although I love green. All right. And Sal is saying I would be glad if you brought up a marketing course on Udemy. Yeah, thanks. I actually did. It's actually, I have a YouTube course, the complete YouTube course. And what I do in that 18-hour course, and I met actually this woman. I've never met her in real life, but I met her. She was one of my students on week number 10 for Office Hours. Her name is Sasha Stevenson, and she has over 100 million views. She's a Canadian. She's hilarious. She lives in Indonesia, and I hope she's doing well with her family now. But we made a course together, and she gave me a lot of advice on my YouTube channel. And I was like, oh my God, she's so nice to help. Let's make a course together, and we did. And it's called the Complete YouTube Course. And in that course, I teach you a lot of marketing concepts too. I even teach how to use Photoshop and a bunch of other applications from scratch, even PowerPoint for making images. I introduced you to the color wheel concept that Sir Isaac Newton pioneered when he invented gravity. But the color, and I'll show you guys now, it's actually really interesting. So Sir Isaac Newton, when he was at Cambridge, he put some light through a prism, and he discovered this color came out. And what this is, it's a great design principle. And basically, let me just zoom in here. Make sure we're still recording good. And basically what this means is the color wheel is important because if you pick colors that are opposite and you put them in a logo or a brand or text or whatever, it's very pleasing to the eye. Okay, opposites attract. So purple and yellow looks awesome. And so does blue and orange. And I do that actually, and I'll show you an example of me doing it. Right here. Yellow and blue. I think that's right. Blue, yeah, it's more or less right, yeah. So I did this as well to get people's attention. Free online education courses. So that's one of the many tricks that we teach in that complete YouTube course as well. Yeah, thanks. All right. Clearly, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with color today, though. I got green and blue. And the reason I have green and blue is that's my corporate logo. And when I hired a firm to design my logo a while ago, and they asked me, they said, well, what are your favorite colors? And I said blue, because of the Toronto Blue Jays. And I have big Toronto Blue Jays ticket over there. And then I said green as well, just because, I believe in helping the environment, all that stuff. That's how they made my logo. And if you look closely in the logo there, I actually was inspired by Federal Express. from a marketing perspective, and I'll show you why. If you look at FedEx's logo, you can actually see that there is an arrow here, and somebody pointed it out here. You see this here? That's an arrow because they're forward thinking. It's subliminal. And so what I did with mine was I have an arrow as well, up here at the top, and it points up in green. Yeah. It's kind of subtle, but yeah. All right. And then Gregory said, my questions I put an hour ago disappeared. Yeah, sorry about that. Repost it. I look at the answer, or I look at the questions in the order in which they're received. If it got deleted, it might have been because you included an internet address. For some reason, YouTube blocks all that stuff. They don't want spammers or whatever, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I love coffee. I absolutely love coffee. Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs very much. I don't do drugs, but I do coffee, and I do love coffee. It's the best. All right. And then next up is Yash. Hey, Yash. Yash is saying, thanks, sir, for all your Udemy courses, making them free. My pleasure. Thank you. And first time I've seen you on the call, welcome. And I hope you join us again. And thanks again. Next up is Rohit in the house from India. How are you, Rohit? Good morning, Chris. Hope all is well. Likewise. Same to you, brother. Rohit is actually the guy, for those of you my MBA degree program, Rohit is the reason why I have a session. I have two sessions. I teach live at 9 a.m. and then 4 p.m. because different time zones all over the world. But initially I was going to do noon and 4. And he said, sir, a lot of people in India won't be able to watch. And so if you're one of my many students in India, you can thank Rohit, because it's because of him that we start at 9 a.m. And then Gregory's writing, Chris, I hope you and your family are great and away from this COVID-19. Thank you. Thank you. We're great. We're great. Thank you. We're great. Yeah. And then Neil is saying, sir, call me Chris, please. I've got a certain doubt. How can I clarify them? Just type the question here if you want to. And by the way, if any of you work at a big company, or a company in general, and you're worried that if you ask questions here, it might get out and your company might see it, whatever, then register with a different name and ask questions with different names. Yeah, people do that a lot, actually. Yeah. But type your question here. And Amit Rao is saying, see, Rao, hope you're doing well as well. I had an economics teacher named Rao, last name Rao, at Columbia. Great guy. He's amazing. And Gregory's saying, thanks again for this leadership action you did with this free course motion. My pleasure. Thank you. And there's another professor, a great guy who teaches Excel. A lot of people ask me to make Excel courses, but screw it. This guy does better than I ever will. And if you go to LinkedIn, and if you go here, let me just go to notification. It might be the easiest way to find it. Here it is here. Yeah. So there's this guy named Chris Dutton. He's awesome. And he also shared all his courses for free on Udemy. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, you might be able to click through to get this. Actually, let me see if I can get it. What you do is this. You click on this link, and then you enter this code, free 2020. Okay, so let me copy this link. And he's got great Excel courses, business analytics, business intelligence as well. He's awesome, and God bless him for sharing too. So there it is there. Code is free 2020. Let me see. Yeah, free 2020. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. And then Amit wrote, sir, I love your course. Love from India. Thank you. More love right back at you. Thank you. And I don't understand why they don't have dosa in every restaurant in America. It's the best food ever. I went to Mumbai and also to Delhi just to teach there years ago. Company sent me there. And the best food I've ever had in my life, was at the Mumbai airport and the Delhi airport, Punjabi Grill. And the food I had was dosa. And I don't know why you don't see dosa at every Indian restaurant on the planet. It's the best food ever. It's just as good as, for people in North America, it's just as good as the first time you try a fresh Krispy Kreme donut right out of the oven. Oh, so good. So good. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next up, Reza is saying, Dear Chris, thank you. How are you? Please help us in decision-making process. How can we improve them? Yeah. So the best way to make a decision is not to just think about the qualitative aspects of a decision. I want you to look at the quantitative aspects, and I'm going to show you how. So whenever I have a difficult decision to make, I use Microsoft Excel, and I quantify it, and I'll show you exactly what this means. Let's go to my channel here on YouTube, and I will paste in this link for you so you don't have to do a crazy search like I'm doing right now. Okay, so let's go here, and let's do decision. Here it is. Yeah. So, and it'll look better. It's actually, I did 4K on this one too. That's right. And I record everything in 4K here. So I show you how to do, if you have a really, really tough decision to make, what I do, and let me just fast forward here, and you can go and watch this video, which I'll provide to you in a link in a second. Ignore the annoying advertising. But what you do is you write down whatever it is you want to do. So say option A is you got a job offer to work on Wall Street, or option B is job offer for consulting. Well, you write here the criteria: compensation, travel, passion, friends. Compensation might be better for job on Wall Street, so you give it a 9. And then you give a 6 for consulting, so you make less in consulting. Travel, you give it a 10 because you don't have to travel as much. But you give it a 5 for consulting because you have to travel a lot. And I also weight these. And then you look at the sum. And anyway, watch this video. Again, I am going to provide you right now with the link to it. And hopefully that will help you out. Yeah, so go copy. And this will help you make a tough decision. Yeah. There you go. It's in your inbox, or it's on the message field there. All right. Next up, Sal. Hey, Sal. Sal is saying, what are some of your favorite movies in relation to commerce? I need some because of this quarantine stuff. Yeah, amen. I hear you. Okay, great. So my favorite movie, actually, my favorite business movie is a movie called Tucker. Okay, and I've got a Tucker car right there as well. And that's a poster from the movie Tucker. And it's with Jeff Bridges. And it's a real story about this man in the 1940s. And he actually the real story is that he created this amazing tank that he was going to sell in the 1930s to the Dutch government. And then World War II occurred, and the Dutch government ran out of money and they couldn't buy it. And so rather than panic, he saw crisis as an opportunity. He re-engineered the tank and made a car as well, which is that car right there. And the movie Tucker, it's an amazing car. It's incredible. It's incredible. But what happened was the big 3 automakers were corrupt. They were crooked. They had crooked politicians that kind of blocked him from being successful. But it didn't matter because his attitude was so positive and infectiously positive. So watch that movie. It's a great movie. It's called Tucker, A Man and His Dreams, and I absolutely love it. Other movies to watch include the movie Wall Street, on how your life can get ruined with one stupid insider information thing. Just be careful, please, always. And Wall Street Part 2, called Money Never Sleeps, sucked. I didn't like it as much. Other great business movies include one called Other People's Money, which is with Danny DeVito, which will explain to you in a lot of detail, and it's fun, how private equity works. Another one, and probably the best business movie in history to explain what happened in 2008, is called Too Big to Fail. It's amazing. And oh my God, the acting is off the chart. John Hurt plays Hank Paulson. You've got Paul Giamatti playing Ben Bernanke brilliantly with the beard. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Topher Grace is also, it's a great movie. Check it out. It'll explain exactly what really happened in '08. It was an HBO movie. I think you can rent it online everywhere in the world now. It's worth renting. It's fantastic. It's great. It's great. Other than that, let me think other business movies. I watch Billions on TV about hedge funds with Brody, the guy from Homeland. And it's really, really well done, at least the hedge fund side. And I know exactly who they're talking about because I used to work in the hedge fund industry. And they certainly did their research in that. And it's fun to watch, too. Now, the district attorney stuff with Paul Giamatti in it is a little far-fetched. But when it comes to the hedge fund stuff, everything about it, like what they wear, the way that they stereotype traders, everything. It's exactly like it is in the real world with hedge funds. It's fascinating. And the corruption is exactly the same as well. Aside from that, Succession is a great show to watch as well. It's funny, man. And the acting is off the charts. It's incredible. It's about this family that's kind of like Rupert Murdoch, like News Corpish. They own a media empire, and it's a very dysfunctional family, but it's incredible. And the music, if you ever want to study music and how music can have an impact on your mood and your feelings when you watch a television show, Succession is great. It starts with this dissonant piano, kind of like Westworld, kind of like a broken keys, which is amazing. I'm watching Westworld season 3 too. It's good. Aside from that, let me think of other business movies to watch. Glengarry Glen Ross is okay, I guess, from a sales perspective. The Boiler Room. Also, Leonardo DiCaprio. Why can I not remember that movie's name? I can't remember the movie's name, but it's a fun one about insider trading too. The Wolf of Wall Street. That's right. The Wolf of Wall Street. I had a senior moment there, folks. But that's a great one. Yeah. And Kyle Chandler's in that too, who's one of my favorite actors. He was in Friday Night Lights, which you have to binge watch on Netflix too. Yeah. All right. Next up is William is saying, where can we get the book? Yeah. So you can get the networking book for free. Okay. And you can get that from my website, and I'll show you where. So you go over here to just Haroun Ventures. Yeah. And there's many websites that forward to my website, like Haroun Education, Haroun Ventures, all that stuff. But go here and just scroll down. You can get the book there. And if you're talking about this book here, 101 Crucial Lessons, you can buy it, but don't, because I have a course version of it for free now on Udemy. You can get that. And that's actually what I opened up today's webcast with, a trailer that we had for that course. But don't buy the book. Again, you can get the course for free on Udemy today or tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Using the code that I pasted here in the message chat. All right. Next up, Gregory is saying, I sent you a LinkedIn mail to offer you a service to help for the French version of your online course, to thank you for this free promotion. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. And I'm so sorry I didn't see the message. I've received literally thousands of messages in the past 2 days. I can't keep up. I'm trying really, really hard, but it is impossible, and I'm missing lots. I'm so sorry. But thank you for bringing that up to my attention. I actually have Alan, one of my students from years ago. He's from France. He's a gentleman, and he actually I hired him to translate my flagship course called Entire MBA in one course into French. And he did so. Alan Curlew, I think, right? Alan, yeah. So I don't know if Alan's on the call, but great guy, and a gentleman. He did it as well. Thank you. But maybe if I do other courses as well, if you want, we can do. We can talk about a rev share longer term. And I know you offered for free, but I'll offer a rev share with you as well. And recently, one of my students named Lamarck, who's one of my MBA degree students, he and his wife, they were here, and we went out for coffee at Paris Baguette in Millbrae. Great coffee shop. And they said they're interested in teaching. And so I gave them my entire MBA in one course, all the materials, everything for free. And I said, make a Filipino version, it's yours. And for 3 years, he keeps all the profits. And then we split it, I guess, after 3 years, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. But it's rough, man. Like, I have a bunch of students in the Philippines, like they've shut the stock market there as well. And they probably should have done that in America too. They probably should have shut the stock market for three days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. And Trump should not have, and hindsight is 2020, but Trump should not have cut interest rates by a full 100 basis points or 1% on Sunday. It basically, it started part of the panic. It should have been 50 basis points on a Monday and 50 on a Friday. Yeah, because it's unprecedented what they did. Yeah. Okay, I'm not here to criticize our government though, because we're all in this together. And we do have to stand behind him. At this point, we all have to. We're all in this together. Okay. All right. And then Neil is saying, where can we clear our doubts? As in, where shall we send it to you so you can get it back to us quickly? Yeah, so the best way to reach me is always right here on this weekly webcast. That's always the best way. Yeah, thank you. And then next up, Kundan is saying, sir, how are you dealing with this corona madness? Yeah, yeah. So lots of prayers and a positive attitude as well. And what gets my mind off it is just giving as much as I can, helping, staying busy, helping others. Stay busy always. And also little things like obviously I've got hand sanitizer like everybody else. Hopefully you have it. If not, you can actually, you can make your own hand sanitizer, search online. This is knockoff, it's not Purell. I bought this on eBay for I think $8 or something. I know it's expensive, but had to do it. I also bought special nail polish that I put on my kids' fingers and mine as well, because we all bite our nails. It tastes awful when we do it. Little things like I've been telling my kids for over a month now, or maybe a couple months, when you open a door, use your elbow to do it. Because your elbow you can't lick your elbow. My kids put everything in their mouth, but you can't your elbow. So that's, anyway, there's that. What else? When I get packages from Amazon or any place, we leave it outside for 24 hours. Then we go and get it. Yeah. I wash my hands constantly. Even in my house, when I open cupboards, I'll use my foot to a cupboard on the floor to open it. Or I'll pull my sleeve like this to open up drawers. Because I don't know, like, we're all healthy here and happy, but maybe one of us have it. And maybe for 2 weeks we got to do this. So I think the most patriotic thing you can do as a global citizen is to stay home at this point. Yeah. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Yeah. So, yeah. And I'm fully supporting my employees and their families. God forbid if they need it, I've offered it to backstop them, do whatever it takes. And I'm giving all my course away for free too. And so I think the best thing you can do is give if you possibly can, just to help others, because we are all in this together. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Aerofell is saying, what tips do you have for a 20-year-old student? Yeah. I would say don't live anybody else's life. Live your life on your own terms. Don't be a lawyer or an engineer because your parents want you to. Who the hell wants to be a lawyer anyway? Unless you're a civil rights lawyer, then I love you. Otherwise, screw that, man. Do what you want to do in life, and you'll be happy. You'll be happy. As Confucius said, find an occupation you enjoy, and you'll never have a job for the rest of your life. And if you're not sure what you should be doing career-wise, I want you to think about it this way. And I always ask this question. It's very prophetic now because we're all at home. If you were given a month off and you can't travel, you can't go to school, and you cannot work, what would you do with your time? That is what your career should be. I don't care what anybody tells you. Find a way to make that a career. Mark Twain had a great quote. He said, the two most important days in your life are, number one, the day you're born, and number two, the day you find out why. What's your why? What are you passionate about? What do you enjoy? And it might take a while to find it. But don't just chase a career to impress other people or to make money or be insecure like I used to be. Do what you love doing, man. You only got one shot at this in your life. The worst thing you can do is decades from now, you wake up one day and you realize you're working for this jerk that pays you this much money to make his or her dreams become a reality. Take a risk. You got nothing to lose. And you got to fail, and you got to fail fast and keep failing over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because you'll never make it big, and you'll never realize your dreams unless you fail a lot first. And as Mark Cuban said, you only have to be right in business one time. J.K. Rowling, who's one of my many heroes, she was rejected by 30 different publishers. And the poor thing, she was a single mother, and she was an assistant. She hated her job. 30 publishers said no. She didn't give up, and she didn't give a damn what people thought of her. Because every time you fail, you get this much closer to success. She's a billionaire now, of course. Yeah. So And it happens with a lot of successful writers. It's hard to make it in the writing industry. Like Agatha Christie and C.S. Lewis and many others. They couldn't get anybody to sign them up for their books. Same thing with Jay-Z. Jay-Z tried so hard to get a recording contract. Everybody said no. Thank God they said no. Because he said, screw it. I'll start my own recording company. And he's living a very happy life now because of that. So in hindsight, he's happy that he failed. And sometimes we fail in our lives and we're frustrated and we say, why me? Why me, God? Why? And then many years later, you look back and you say, oh, thank you, God, for guiding me down that path. God already knows what's going to happen. And that should put us all at ease. Another thing I want to talk about is a chart that means a lot to me. And let me see if I can actually show this to you. I'm going to do it on Juan David's book, because he's very optimistic. Okay, so I'll do it in the backside here. Yeah. So here's a chart I'm going to draw for you. Okay. So this here is the x-axis. On the x-axis is your age. On the y-axis is give a darn. Age, give a darn. When you're younger, you're right here. Right? When you're really young. You don't care what people think of you. You don't give a darn. You don't care. You have meltdowns in restaurants. Who cares? Then when you're older, old people like me, you don't care what people think either. Old people don't have confidence problems. They just don't care. What's deadly is in the middle. When you're in your 20s or 30s, you're up here. You care what people think. You're insecure, or at least I was. And I call this the triangle of despair. And you need to avoid that like the plague. I shouldn't say that right now, but you know what I mean. You need to avoid that. Don't be in that triangle of despair. I want you to live your life on a low level here. The most successful entrepreneurs, they don't give a damn what people think of them. They don't care. They never have. A lot of them, have messy hair and whatever. They don't know how to dress. They don't give a damn what people think of them. And then later they make it big and they hire a stylist and they look better, whatever. But they always live at this level here. They don't care. They don't care. Albert Einstein. When you see a picture of him, you think genius. You don't think crazy. The guy had long hair and he would stick his tongue out. Remember that image? You can do a search on it to the camera. He didn't care. And he didn't give a damn what people think of him. You got to be the same way. J.K. Rowling lives at this level always. She never gave a damn that people looked down upon her because, she was basically couldn't get a contract with about 30 different publishing houses. She didn't care. Steve Jobs didn't care. He was at this level forever. He would show up to work at Atari and Activision. And, he had long hair and he looked orange because all he ate was carrots for a while. It's true. It's true. And he smelled because he didn't shower. But please shower, folks. But he didn't care. And they made him work the night shift because of that. He didn't give a damn. He didn't care. That's one of the many reasons he was extraordinarily successful. Elon Musk doesn't care. He doesn't care that people might think he's crazy because he's talking about colonizing Mars. He doesn't care. At first, they think you're crazy. Then you get a little bit of success. They think you're maybe a crazy genius. Then they just think you're a genius. I want you to live your life at this level always. And don't give a damn what anybody thinks of you. And let's do an exercise together. This will be very therapeutic for all of us, myself included. I'm going to say, I don't care, and you got to fill in the blank. And your homework, or shukudai, as they say in Japanese, is I want you to do this 10 times. I want you to get a piece of paper, and I want you to write down 3 words at the top. I don't care. Then what I want you to do is I want you to write that 10 times on 10 different lines on a piece of paper. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. And leave a gap on the right. So 10 times, I don't care. And then I want you to fill in that sentence. I don't care what people think of my job. Like, I don't care. A lot of people think, Chris, you're crazy to be teaching. Shouldn't you be working in venture capital? I don't care. I don't care what people think of my bad hair dye. I don't care. This is me. I like being me. Everyone else is taking. I don't care what people think of my extremely aerodynamic nose, which really helps me when I'm skiing, by the way. No joke, it's true. I'm a badass skier and cycler too, because I can tuck it. It's just aerodynamic. It helps. It helps. I don't care. I don't care that I might stumble and forget what I'm going to be saying next. I don't care. I don't care what people think of me. I don't care. I don't care. Sometimes I have a little twitch up here. It's a bad habit. You'll see it every now and then. Oh, damn it. Now I was going to look for it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if some of my students complain that I say the word okay or right a little bit too much. I don't care. I want you to write down 10 things. And I want you to fill in the blank. I don't care what people think of X, whatever it is. Only then can you truly be happy and live your life on your own terms. Because as Dr. Seuss said, those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. All right. Next up is Neha. Hey, Neha. Hope all's well. What are some of the good cybersecurity companies? Thanks. Yeah. I'm not as up to speed in that as I used to be. I used to, I met with Gil Shwed a number of times. He's the brilliant Israeli founder of Checkpoint. CHKP is a ticker. And I invested in that company for years. I'm a little bit out of the loop now. I met with John Thompson a lot when he used to run Symantec. I actually owned Veritas when Symantec bought Veritas. It was a nice Christmas present for me back in 2004 when I worked in the hedge fund industry. So I was close to it. It's a tough gig. It's tough. And it's so hard with security companies now because governments have infiltrated a lot of them. Like, for example, Kaspersky, which is one of the worst criminal institutions in history. It's an antivirus company that people use. Don't use Kaspersky because the Russian government uses it to spy. It's true. It's in the Wall Street Journal, whatever. And I don't want to bias you to buy American security products. I want you to do your own research always first. Always, always, always. And the best way to do it is do research on publicly traded security companies. Go to sec.gov, read the annual reports on these companies, and build out your own financial model. Anyone can do it. And also a one-page write-up. And take my complete financial analyst course. It's free today. I provided the link earlier. And that will help you form your own opinion on what companies to invest in the security space. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. And I'm going to try something now because I had a problem with SIRI before. I was wearing the watch to track my heart rate and stuff. And she turns on all the time. So I'm going to do something now that's going to piss off a lot of people. I don't care. Here I go. Siri, set an alarm for 3 a.m. Hey Siri, set an alarm for 3 a.m. Alexa, set an alarm for 3 a.m.
Alarm set for
Alexa,
3 a.m.
cancel.
tomorrow.
Alexa, cancel. That was for you guys. Alexa, cancel that alarm.
3 a.m. alarm canceled.
Okay. The reason I did that was a test to see if I automatically created an alarm for all of my students at 3 a.m. for all of you that have iOS devices and all of you that have Amazon devices. I'm so sorry, but I don't care. You're all going to hate me now if it worked. Sorry. But let me know, anybody, please, if it actually made that happen. It's kind of funny. I did that once at a massive conference with 1,000 people in the audience. I was on a panel, and some jerk asked me a question. He was a total douche about it. And I did that, and everyone was like, ugh. And they all had to get their iPhones and turn it off and stuff. So anyway, I'm curious how many enemies. This is where people usually do a thumbs down on the YouTube webcast. I don't care. I say it with love in my heart. As Sting said in An Englishman in New York, it takes a man to suffer ignorance and smile. Be yourself no matter what they say. Hi, I'm 7.5. So next question is from Neha saying, learning French versus Spanish. Which is a better option for business professional? Thanks. Yeah. I think it depends where you live. That's what I'll say. I learned French growing up. because I grew up in Canada. In fact, I didn't speak English in school until the 4th grade, basically. I went to Toronto French School. And I'm glad I did. If you learning a language when you're a kid is so much easier. And I have a lot of friends that are trying to learn second languages now. And actually, a lot of my students learn English by taking my courses. They take my international versions. I have 12 language versions of a lot of my courses, where I actually paid to have text burned in at the bottom in different languages. And they learn English that way. And you can learn English also in different languages by watching television, right? So you can watch The Heist and learn Spanish that way. You can, you can watch Narcos and learn Spanish as well. So I don't know which one's more relevant for you. I guess where I live right now in California, Spanish. My kids are taking Spanish in school now. If you live in Canada, French. It all depends from a business perspective, what makes sense, based on where you live. Next one is, hello, Mr. Chris. Thank you for the classes in Udemy. They're really helpful. My pleasure. Thank you. I want to ask you a question. I'm a student and I want to make a source of income. What is your advice to me and how to start? So what I recommend doing is I recommend taking my course called the Complete Business Plan course. It's free today. If you scroll down here in the message field, I actually pasted the link for all my courses that are free. And that will help you come up with a business model. And please don't start a company without writing a business model first, because it might be the most important decision you ever make career-wise, ever. And if I can save you a lot of heartache and pain by convincing you not to start that company by you writing a business plan, or if I can save you a lot of heartache and pain by making you more successful by writing that business plan, I've done my job. Failing to plan is planning to fail. And Juan David is saying, I thought about a really cool idea. The only reason that has been stopping me from making YouTube videos is having a nice background. I thought about using Zoom virtual background. Any thoughts? That's actually a great idea. So for those of you not familiar with Zoom's virtual background concept, it will basically create a green screen background for you, which works out quite well if you have the right lighting. But Juan David, take my my video production masterclass course. It's 27 hours. And it'll teach you how to create a backdrop like this for next to nothing. And anybody can do this. It's not a matter of how expensive the equipment is. It's whether or not you know how to use it. And for a long time, I had a brick wall behind me. That was actually a $30 brick wall that I bought a piece of cardboard from Home Depot, or from, I think it was Home Depot, and they delivered it to my house. So you can create it easily, And Juan David, take my my free courses on Udemy. Called 40 Tips on How to Make a Great Online Course. And another one called Another 40 Tips on How to Make a Great Online Course. Because what I do is I teach you how to build out a studio at home on the cheap as well. And my first course, my entire MBA in one course, all I did was I just had, I'll show you all the equipment I got actually. So for my first course that I did, which I'm humble to say is, it's been a life changer. It's been great. What I did was I went to Amazon and I bought a bunch of stuff here. So you can buy Westcott Basics lights. And I'll paste this link for you in a second, okay? This is similar to the one I used here. I got it cheaper. And what you could actually do is this. This looks really good. Check this out, dude. So you can actually get lights and this backdrop here to hang something, okay? And I recommend doing something like this, Juan David, and you're in Chicago, so you'll get delivery there too, okay? And so you get these basic lights. Oh my God, it's a great deal. So you get these 3 lights here, okay? So you always need to have 2 lights at the front. One is called the key light, which is like the sun. And the other one is called the fill light, which fills in whatever the sun misses, that sort of thing. That's why outside you see people holding up, when they're filming, a big reflection thing, reflecting the sun's light. So they have 2 light sources. One is the sun, one is the fill light. And so you get here the key light and the fill light here. And you get the light behind you. And I used something like this for my first course. And behind me, I didn't even use this. I had an old lamp that I just took off the top of. And that's it, on a yellow wall. And I even had a microphone that had a wire on it. But and I use just an old DSLR camera. Anybody can do it. Use an iPhone, it's even better. or Android handset. And you also get this here. And what you can also do is you can buy along with this. Wow, look at the prices, man. They're coming down big time. You get a green screen along with it to hang down on this, right? So let me just send you this link here. And that's how you get started. Yeah, that's what I recommend. There you go. It won't let me paste it. So hold on one second. The link is too long. So let me, I'm going to paste it in two pieces, okay? So you're going to have to put these together. So piece one is right here. And piece two is coming up in a second. Here. There. So I sent both pieces there, and you can connect them both together. All right. And there's an incredible science to all of this too. When it comes to audio, when it comes to lighting, there's a lot to it. A lot to it. It's not as easy as just getting an iPhone and working it that way. There's a lot more to it. Check out my free courses on it. It'll help you a lot because I made every mistake there is to make. And as Michael Jordan said, I failed over and over and over again, and that's why yeah. Okay. All right. And then Kunan is saying, sir, are these, hold on a second. Sir, are these internships like Spring Week or summer internships only open to American colleges for New York City offices? How do you get into one from India? Yeah, you can do virtual internships. Like a lot of American companies have a lot of employees in India. And I'm actually just about to hire another employee from India. He used to work with my wife at IBM, and I'm in the process of and my employees are all over the world. Like I don't really care where you're located. You can do this job from anywhere. So, but what I would say is read my book about networking. That will help you a lot in terms of how to network with people virtually as well to get a job or anything you want. And let me show you. So go to my website, HarounVentures.com. Scroll down, and you'll get this. You'll get the book here. Yeah. So that's what I recommend. And also take my complete job course on Udemy. It's free today. My courses are all free for today. Yeah. All right. Because we're all in this together. And next up, Melody, who's a teacher from Atlanta, is saying, I love that my whole family is home. It's so much fun. I agree. I decided I would make the best out of it. So we have done karaoke Saturdays. We also have made garbage bots. I love it. I love it. And Dylan, oh, this is the best. My son Dylan, he made this awesome fort in his room. Right? Like I bought him the Harry Potter books, which he refuses to open, but he uses the books actually to hold down the blankets when he makes a fort. So at least they're being put to some good use, I guess. But no, it's, yeah, they're having fun doing that. Yeah. Yeah. And you can also get a putter and a golf ball, and you can set up different golf holes in your house together. It's fun, man. And all you do is get a little plastic cup as well. Or just get a tennis ball and kick into the cup, and you set up different. It's fun. We're doing all this stuff too. We're having a blast. We're having a blast. We're staying safe. We're staying home. We're bonding, yeah. So there is something positive about what's happening now, and I think our kids are going to look back and say these were some of my fondest memories of my entire life. And by the time your kid is 12 years old, you've already spent 90% of the time you'll ever spend with them. And if you have teenagers, and I now have 2 teenagers, that stat's going to go, it's going to get destroyed because they're going to be spending a hell of a lot of time with me now, whether they like it or not. Yeah. But it's so funny though, because I watch how my kids consume media, and they've been using TikTok a lot. And dude, I'm starting to get hooked on TikTok as well. Like Dylan, my youngest one, will look at funny TikTok videos, and it's funny, man. It's funny. Yeah. And the younger generation is way more positive than us old people. Speaking of myself. Yeah. Because they grew up YouTube. Okay. And Kunan is saying, what do you think about investment banking and management consulting? Which do you think is better? So what I recommend doing it's so funny you mentioned that because I actually did a video on that. All you have to do is do a search on my YouTube channel on the word decide. And I dedicated an entire video to that, and I quantify the differences as well. But at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, which one would you do for free? Meaning, which one do you enjoy? What are you passionate about? And if it's neither, then screw it, don't do it. But if like, and be careful with investment banking. Like a lot of my students always want to be investment bankers, sort of. They don't realize what it is. And people say, I want to do it because I'll make a lot of money. And then they realize that they make the same amount of money as all their buddies do per hour, but they have no life. So make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into first. Yeah. And you can take my complete financial analyst course. It's free today, which will tell you a lot about that. Or take my entire MBA in one course. I do dedicate a section, I think, to management consulting. And Haroun is saying, smile because your name rhymes with mine. I love it. Haroun is saying, is your course free? It is today. Yeah, today. So, yeah. And I provided the link in the message field here. Just you'll find it if you scroll through. All right. And then Kundan is saying, please check out Fast Track Forex course by Hitherman and tell me if it's genuine or not. If it has anything to do with trading, don't do it, please. Give me the name of one successful, this is a rhetorical question. Give me the name of one successful trader that's been successful in the long run trading. They don't exist. They don't exist. Don't be a trader, right? Look for long-term investments. And the whole world is on sale right now. So roll up your sleeves, do research on it, and think long-term because as Warren Buffett said, the longer the view, the wiser the intention. Yeah. So if that course sounds like a trading course, and when it comes to foreign exchange, you cannot make money trading currencies in the long run. You will get burned unless you're George Soros, and that's just one person. You cannot do it. You'll get fooled by randomness. The worst thing that can happen is you make money right away because then you'll get more confident and you'll do more. It's kind of like going to the casino one day and playing roulette and winning $100. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make a career out of this. Yeah. No. Yeah. You cannot make money at that. Yeah. I promise you. I put my reputation on the line. Don't take that course. Yeah. Okay. Melody is saying, I listened to a doctor on Facebook and he said the virus lasts 72 hours on plastic. Wow. Yeesh. No, thanks for that. And Melody is, thank you for that. Because what I've been doing, and you're responding to something I mentioned earlier in the call, which is whenever we get packages from Amazon, we leave it outside for 24 hours. Along with our mini cameras we're watching. And then what we do is we then bring it in. But maybe we'll leave it for a little bit longer than that, though. Yeah, thank you. Wow. Yeah, and then Kunan's got another question here. You said, sir, Chris, please. As you said, trading in stocks is a bad decision. Is that the same with Forex and commodities? Yes. Yes. Trading anything is bad. Be long-term focused because you can't forecast. Like the reason stocks move in the short run, like each month has 20 weekdays, which means 20 trading days. And the reason that any investment goes up or down, usually within 20 days, pardon me, is because of something out of you can't control. Something geopolitical, like saber rattling between China and Russia, China and the United States with respect to trade wars or whatever it is. Or it might be a health issue, or it might be a company in the same sector, had positive or negative news. You can't make money every month. No hedge fund does either. And those that did were criminal institutions like SAC and were shut down. Yeah. And by the way, Bobby Axelrod's company Billions or Axe Capital in that show Billions on Showtime, which is fun to watch, I'm pretty sure it was modeled after SAC. Even the office looks the same up in Connecticut, or the old office they used to have in that show. And I've gone up to SAC before. I've interviewed there. I've met with a lot of people there. Criminal institution. I'm very glad it shut down. And I think they should have been penalized much more so. Yeah. All right. Samina is saying my transfer has been processed, but I couldn't cross cross borders because the borders are closed. And I think you were talking about going to Cyprus, right? Yeah. So you lived in Belgium before. You're from Greece, and you're talking about going to Cyprus. You mentioned that a couple months ago, but you're back in Greece now with your family, which is good. You said I'm quarantined in Greece. I'm staying at home, but locked away from everyone for their safety, working on the game. Okay, cool. I hear you. I hear you. And Samina works for Ryanair, a great discount airline. Yeah, I'm with you. You're working on the game now. Awesome. Great. So in hindsight, you're going to look back and say, this was the opportunity you had to really focus on the game and get it out there. And I can't wait to try it out. I can't wait to try it out. So please share it with us whenever you can. I want to play it. And I actually want to, like part of my MBA degree program, what I want to do longer term, and I'm saying this, so that means I have to actually commit, is I want to have an open world concept video game part to it, where my students can all interact with each other, kind of like World of Warcraft, Blizzard-like, to interact with each other virtually. So what happens now is my students interact with each other through chat and also through the Slack channel I set up for my MBA degree students. I want an open world concept using like the Rage engine, something like that from Rockstar, if they ever made it available, which makes Grand Theft Auto, so that they can all interact with each other. So at some points, I know Jack about this. You know a lot about this, Samina. So maybe we can collaborate on this in the future. Yeah. I can't wait to see your game. Yeah. And I want to play it here live. It'll be fun. And Kunan's saying, is it even possible to make money in Forex like those online gurus say? Just curious. No, it's not. That's just like saying, is it possible to make money consistently in a casino? No. No. It's a scam. It's an absolute scam. But people still go to casinos because there is that chance I can make money. But it's still a scam. It's still a scam. Being a gambler and going to a casino is not a sustainable career. Yeah. 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 All right. And Mohammed is saying, I really appreciate that I know about you. And you wrote, I'm from Egypt. Thank you. Thank you. Hope all's well. And my dad is half Egyptian. My mom is half Lebanese. And the other half is Scottish, Irish, French. She was born in Vancouver. My dad immigrated from Egypt to Canada in 1967. So I'm half Egyptian. Half Egyptian. Yeah. So it's great to have you. Thank you. And I don't know that many words in Arabic. My dad used to call home to Egypt every Sunday. I remember that, and I heard a lot of Arabic, but I only know one word, which is khamsa. Because when I was 5, I was like, Dad, how do I say 5? And yeah, and that's when my maturity peaked too. So khamsa 5, high five. Yeah, great to have you. Thank you. And I got more than 70,000 new students in the past 2 days from Egypt. That free coupon that I had, it spread like wildfire, especially in Egypt, and I'm glad it did. Because what I worry about with Egypt, for example, and I've never been there. I'm embarrassed to say it's part of my heritage. I'm proud of my heritage. Is if you think about Egypt, there's millions and millions of people that live close to each other, right on the Nile, right? It's not spread out at all. So it does worry me. And if I can do my part to have people, stay home and learn business and stuff, have fun learning online, and I've done my job. But let me show you my Egyptian course, because it really took off in the past 2 days for free. Okay, I'm not profiting from this at all. But right here, and I've gotten a lot of messages from students in Arabic, and I've been responding using Google Translate. So I'm sure I butchered that. Oh, this is a free course on how to make a course online in Egypt. But I've got another one. So here's all my MBA degree courses, or pardon me, my entire MBA in one course in different languages: German, Chinese. Yeah. Let's see here. Here it is here. Yeah. So let's go here. So let me copy the link address. Let me actually open it in incognito mode here. Yeah, so I've gotten about 70,000 students in the past couple of days or so. And the way that I translated this, I turn the music off here, is I actually, That was me using cheesy green screen years ago. But if you look in the videos too, I translated just the bottom here. Yeah. So anyway, I paid for that to be done. Anyway, so this is it here, and you can read the in Arabic, I guess the I don't know the reviews. What you want to do though is you want to look at the 1-star reviews. Like click that and read through as well. It's good to be objective and see both sides of it. But it's great to have you, Habibi. That's what my mom and dad say, Habibi. Okay. Okay. Next up, Samina is saying I'm working on my business plan and my Russian skills. Oh, cool. I didn't know you spoke Russian. Cool. So I guess you speak English, Greek, Russian. It's amazing. And you wrote, I'm going to spend my next 14 days relaxing and advancing my personal goals before going down. Good. Hey, Samina, what you can do is take my, please do this. I've got a business plan course, which is free for the next day. Take it. Like, take all my courses for free. Register while they're still free, please. But it's right here. And use this actually to help with your business plan. If you want, it's free. Using this link I'm going to send you right now. Okay. So let me send it here. I'll copy and paste it. Sorry, you guys didn't see what I was just doing there. I went and I copied the link from this here. Okay. So take this course. It's free for a day and write your business plan. All right. Next up here. Let's do a sound check. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, 1 second. I see there's just an insane number of questions. I'm so sorry, guys, but the call ends at 11 a.m. I used to do these things all day long. Our record actually was, Melody will laugh at this. She was on that call, October 31st, 2019. I did, my weekly was 9.5 hours straight. But unfortunately, I changed it so it ends at 11 a.m. And then I do office hours with my MBA degree students, and then one-on-ones with my MBA degree students. So we're gonna have to stop the call in about a half an hour. And if I don't answer your questions, just copy them and ask me again next week, please. Thank you. We got a half hour left though. Let's do this. All right. Muhammad is saying you're a role model. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. And I can hear my dad saying, "Ya wallet," which is he used to say to me when I was a kid in Arabic. He was like a father to me. Just kidding. Asmin is saying also with regards to the SARS-CoV-2, it will be more like a month, 2 tops until it cools down in Europe at least. We're currently not flying. But we are going to start 3 weeks from now again. Okay, good. And and Samina works at Ryanair, great discount carrier. And I invested in Ryanair years ago. It's an Irish company. And the brilliance of Ryanair is they keep prices really, really low by basically your seats can't go back on a lot of the airplanes. So they can cram in more seats, especially on the Airbus 380, which is a big bird. And also you can't put anything in the seat back the pockets there, so it's easy for them to clean. It's a good business model though. It's like the Southwest of Europe. Yeah. And you wrote, hello Matt, hello Wrigley, stay safe too guys. Awesome. And Asmin is referring to my 2 employees, Matt Lacus, who's my CCO, which is Chief Creative Officer. He's awesome. And Wrigley Dutra, who's my COO, Chief Operating Officer, and my Head of Business Development. Yeah, and they're safe, they're happy, they're at home right now. And I gave them badass desks, like this fully.com desk I bought for them. It's at their house, and they all have great computers and everything we need. Yeah, everything we need. And thank you for saying that. Appreciate it. And Mahu wrote, "You're really great." Thank you, Mahu. Appreciate it. Thank you. And Himanshu wrote here, I enrolled in the free courses. Thank you so much, Chris. You're a real life hero and mentor. Thank you. Enjoy. And then Gregory as comment, Chris, it's strange. You're answering questions we do not see on the live chat. Oh, wow. Yeah, it might be because we've been flooded with a ton of questions today. I don't really know. Sorry about that. But right now I'm up to 8:42 a.m. And so I'll show you how I'm looking at it. So I went over here to the video here, and then what I do is I clicked here. It doesn't exist anymore, but pop out live chat, and I have live chat over here, yeah. Yeah. So you might just be seeing top chat. If you want, you can go to live chat. I don't know if you can change that parameter where you are as well. But this is what I see here. But if not all the questions are getting through, I apologize. And I did have one Egyptian student somehow sent me a message saying that I can't ask a question or whatever it is. And I don't, yeah, I don't think this is blocked in any country. This is available everywhere, but I'm here. Ask away if you can. Thanks. And yeah, and if your question doesn't appear anymore, it might be because you included a hyperlink or another reason. Just paste it again. Thanks. And we actually had one of my students last week on, and he's a doctor in China. And he told us a little bit about the virus, and he's been working on a cure since January in China. And I asked him to come on Zoom, whatever, and he didn't respond. And I think we can all read between the lines. Yeah. All right. Kundan is saying, sir, or call me Chris, please. Do I also need to know technology skills like blockchain and coding to land a finance job on Wall Street? Because I heard they want both tech and finance skills. No, God, no. God, no. And if you want to learn about cryptocurrency, all you got to know is take my course. It's free today, the complete cryptocurrency course. Yeah. So, yeah. And then I included the link here somewhere. You can search my name here on the chat and just click through to get access to my complete cryptocurrency course, which is 24 hours. And it's funny because I started making that course and I was positive on cryptos. And then by the end of the course, I was like, dude, it's a scam. And so my tone is I'm not saying buy cryptos in that course. I'm being intellectually honest and objective, neutral, and I'm providing you with a number of frameworks for you to assess whether or not to buy cryptos. Yeah. And I'm currently mining Ethereum down here on one of my mining PCs. I could pull it up here if you guys want to see it. Let me know. This is your time. You guys are the customer. The customer's always right. Okay. Next up, sir, Indian undergrad is 3 years compared to 4 years in the United States. So will it decrease my chance in getting a finance job in the USA? I don't think so, too. I think it comes down to networking. Like, go to my website and download my networking book. Had I known what I know now, I would not gotten an MBA. So go to harounventures.com and scroll down and download this book. And I promise you, it'll help you a lot. Or take my complete job course on Udemy, which is free today. It'll help. It'll help. And Ali is saying, hi. Hey, Ali, how are you? What's this video about? That's my first time here. No, thanks for asking, Ali, and welcome. Welcome to the call. So I do this every single week for all my students. It's basically office hours. So I teach online. And 82 or 83 weeks ago, I started doing a weekly webcast. And so it's just basic Q&A. You can ask me any questions, business, career, personal, any questions you want for 3 hours. And if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see all the previous ones. And what I do actually is I have my employees, I actually have them go through and write up all the questions. So if you go back and let's go to all of them, right? So this is week 82 here. Look on the side here, okay? And I have the quality is lower on purpose, otherwise it'll hurt the streaming here. But if you go on the side here, you can see all 82, okay, of my webcasts. And just for fun, let's go back to the first webcast. But I have my employees write up all the questions. So within 24 hours of the call being over, you can click here to see the answer to any question I provided, right? And so, and this was week number 1. The first week I did 720. I didn't have 4K, whatever then. And when I first started the call, well, first of all, the quality wasn't as good. I didn't have any questions, so I was just talking. I was waiting. I was nervous, just waiting for questions. But that's what this is all about. and welcome. Hope you join us again. And Arthur is saying, how long typically does it take for a financial analyst to value a company? How many are they doing a day? Yeah, I think to really do it right, it takes a couple days. You got to do a lot of research on the company and build your financial model. And I teach you everything from scratch. Even if you have no experience in finance or business at all, take my complete financial analyst course. It's free today. And you can go to the link I provided in this chat here to get that course for free. Yeah, it takes a couple days. And then how often do they update or go back to their valuation spreadsheet for the company? Yeah. So yeah, every time a company reports earnings, what will happen is the analysts or the investors or you or me will go to our financial model and we'll enter in the quarterly numbers. And based on the quarterly numbers and based on what we hear from the earnings conference call, which is available to everybody online for free, we update our estimates in the future, which I explain how to do in my complete financial analyst course. So it's usually every 3 months we do it. Or sometimes it can be within a quarter. You can do it before earnings are released. If for some reason you think that company's earnings can be better or worse this quarter. It might be better because one of their competitors reported a great quarter, or it might be worse because of some geopolitical incident. Or sometimes you'll update your model before the quarterly earnings come out. If a company does something material, like buys back a ton of shares, or if they buy another company. Yeah. Do you keep a calendar where you mark when companies are scheduled to have earnings or annual reports so you stay on track for pricing companies? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't do as much now because I don't manage a lot of money anymore. I just kind of do my own thing. But what I do is I track very closely which companies that I follow have set an earnings press release date, right? And what I do is I subscribe to those companies' email alerts by searching for investor relations and the company name. And I monitor it closely because until a company issues a date when they're going to release earnings, they still might not make earnings. I'll explain what that means. So usually at the end of a quarter, when the quarter is done, if a company looks through their numbers, you're like, yeah, we're going to report in line with what people are expecting. Then they'll issue a press release saying, we expect to release earnings. We are going to release earnings on this date next week or whatever it is. Or if they're going to miss earnings, they'll negatively pre-announce in that press release. They'll say, we're going to miss earnings by probably this much, and we'll provide more details on our earnings conference call next week on this date. Or if they beat earnings by a lot, they positively pre-announce. So you always want to see whether or not a company has set that earnings press release date. Now, it works for a lot of companies, but not all. But a lot of companies will only issue an earnings press release regarding the a press release regarding the earnings date after they know if they're going to make or miss earnings. Yeah. And so you're going to see a lot of companies negatively pre-announce in this current economic environment for obvious reasons. And I'm sure they'll just kitchen sink it, take as many expenses as they can while they can. And then Arthur is saying, what's your opinion about day trading and momentum trading? Please don't do it. And I was talking about it earlier in the call. It's like going to a casino. You cannot make money trading daily. Otherwise, we would know the names of successful day traders. They don't exist. And if somebody is trying to sell you their product on how you too can make millions day trading, I guarantee you they're fraudulent. Don't do it, please. Yeah. Next up, how do you get stock or trading or valuing ideas? Do you use any scanners? Do you become really good in one industry, or do you value companies in all different types of industries? Yeah, so I've covered a lot of different industries in my career, pretty much every major industry. But I tend to believe that if you cover fewer companies, you'll be a better investor. Like the dream model for a hedge fund or mutual fund is to have analysts that only cover 10 stocks each. Nobody does it. What they do is they give analysts more and more stocks as they get better and better and better. And it basically spreads the analysts too thin. They become a jack of all trades and a master of none. I believe if you roll up your sleeves and do a lot of research, like a ton of research on just a handful of companies, I think you'll be a much, much better investor than anybody on the planet. That's right. And you can take my complete financial analyst training course for more details on how to do this. You can definitely outsmart the professionals. And you have the same access to information that everybody does on Wall Street. All the professionals do. Because in 2002, Elliot Spitzer, when he was still a senator, he's not a senator anymore. I don't want to talk about why. But he basically created this legislation called Regulation FD, which stands for fair disclosure, which means that you and I have the same access to information at the exact same time that all Wall Street professionals have. There's no reason you can't outsmart the professionals too, because I don't think they're better than you and I. Take my complete financial analyst training course, and I'll explain exactly how you too can be a great investor. Yeah, and I come up with, in companies, you wrote here, valuation in different industries. Yeah, so different industries have different valuation metrics. And when you get really good at this, you'll realize that there's one driver for every industry that matters. So when it comes to restaurant stocks, it's what's called same-store sales, because you don't want to give a company too much benefit for opening too many stores. Because if they open a lot of stores and take on a lot of debt, that's not good. You want to monitor how much each store is growing organically. So for example, with McDonald's, they don't get credit for opening lots of stores. They get credit for making each store's revenue grow year over year, same store sales, SSS. So one year they'll say, well, let's stay open all night long. And investors love it because that helps each store's revenue to grow year over year. Or let's offer coffee. Investors love it because that means revenue goes up and it's a high profit margin product. Or they might say, we now have kiosks where people can just type in their order, and investors love that because that drives more traffic, increases same-store sales. And McDonald's, actually, what they do, a little off track, but interesting nonetheless, they have plastic chairs that are designed and engineered in such a way that it's incredibly uncomfortable for you and I to sit on them for more than 20 minutes. And they do that just to keep turnover high. Expensive restaurants don't have that. So every industry has their own driver. In the hotel industry, it's what's called RevPAR, which is revenue per available room. Is each hotel room growing year over year revenue-wise? You can't give Hilton or Marriott or any hotel company credit for opening lots of hotels, because that might mean they're taking on a lot of debt. We want to look at organic growth from within. Each room's growth year over year, revenue per available room. And different sectors have different drivers as well. Next up, Kundan is saying, sir, are there ways of picking stocks that you teach in your company's financial analyst courses applicable for other countries like India, or is it only focused on the US? No, it's all markets. I've invested a lot in India on the Sensex. I've invested in Crompton and Greaves there. I've invested in Infosys, Satyam Wipro, and Tata Motors. I've invested in a ton of companies in India. And the methodologies I teach in my courses are always global in nature. I've invested in most major markets. Latin America, I spent a lot of time investing in great Brazilian and Mexican companies, and Argentina as well, and Chile as well, the airlines there. Yeah, Land Airlines, I think, yeah. I also invested a lot in Japan. I spent the first couple of years of my professional career at Goldman Sachs doing Japanese equities. I've invested a lot in China. I've invested a ton in Europe. I've visited companies all over the world. And so I pride myself on teaching from a global perspective. It's not just US focused. Yeah. All right. Also, do you have another separate course on stock market or financial analyst course? Is not. Just take the financial analyst course. That's good enough. Yeah. And Jose, how are you, bud? And Jose, thank you so much for the tweets you sent yesterday. God bless you. I appreciate it. Lots of love from San Francisco Bay Area right back at you in Brooklyn there. And so Jose used to work in the oil industry on offshore rigs. Thank goodness he doesn't anymore. He's home now, which is great with his family, his wife and daughter. And he's originally from Venezuela. And he works in a sector now where he's a pioneer with selling point-of-sale systems or POS to retail stores in Brooklyn. He's one of my wonderful MBA degree students. And so, Jose, it's great to have you. Jose is writing, good morning, Chris. How are you? I'm great, thank you. I'm great. This isn't a job for me. This is a passion. I love what I do. I'm home with my family. We're happy. We're healthy. Things are good. We're praying for the rest of the world. We are. And you wrote, hope everybody is fine, healthy. This chaotic situation is the perfect opportunity to share and tight family bonds. Amen, brother. Totally agree with you. Totally agree. Yeah. Yeah, there is good in this. Yeah, there is a silver lining. We pray that things improve quickly for the world. But yeah, it's important to have a positive attitude. Next up is Mary Alack is saying, good morning, Chris. Right back at you. Thank you. And John is saying, would a $1,000 to everybody after rates, because the money supply would be greater, what effect would that have on inflation? Yeah. So it would have an impact on inflation because basically the government is flooding the system with more money. Yeah. It would basically, yeah. I think inflation will only go up if demand increases or stays the same. But if demand for products goes down and they print a lot of money, then you probably won't see as much inflation. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it works out. Yeah. And Samina wrote, I was thinking with a friend to make a thing like that, like the morning show, positivity upgrades for awesome. Oh, I love it. And earlier on, I was mentioning, I wish that there was a news channel which only discussed positive stuff. Like a John Oliver, but only positive. Yeah. And I watched the John Oliver show this Sunday. And it was really eerie, man. Like he usually does it in a big building in Manhattan, but they couldn't because people had the virus there. So he didn't have a studio audience. It was just him with a white background, and there was no laugh track or no laughter in the background. It was really different, actually. It sounded really different. Yeah. I like him, though. He's fun to watch. And then Mary Lack is saying, I have just discovered your courses in YouTube. I've signed up for a bunch of them. Awesome. Thank you. And they're free today. And if you paid for them in the past 30 days, get a refund because you get a 30-day money back, and then just use the free code. All right. This is not the time to make money off customers. All right. And Haroun is saying the virus grows in your throat, and when it reaches the lung, it causes pneumonia. So you should gargle with some solution like a betadine to kill the viruses. Apparently, they check virus by throat swab. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. And I have been gargling water, and I'm drinking hot water as well. It's right here, actually. And I've got this heat thing, yeah. But I have been gargling as well. Thank you for that. We're all in this together. I love these tips. Thank you. Yeah. Next one is, hi, Chris. I just want to say thank you for the free courses. My pleasure. Thank you. You have a large heart and are truly incredible. Thank you. You're most welcome. Thank you. God bless you and your family. And Haroun is saying, if the virus doesn't reach the lungs, you're probably safe because people die of pneumonia. I think the body will eventually recover from the virus like a cold or a flu. Yeah. And God willing, this passes. We live in interesting times. This is unprecedented. Like from an economic perspective, well, first of all, the human toll is terrible. But from an economic perspective, this is unprecedented to have borders closed. Like even during wars, they don't close all the borders. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I think any country that's not giving back a lot right now should be shamed. I really do believe that. We're all in this together. Yeah. And any companies that have a cash balance above zero, they should be paying all their employees wages, full wages from working at home. And much, much more as well. Much more. Yeah. And I think now's the time for the banks to give back, because what really pisses me off is 2008, we were within 24 hours of bank machines not working, and governments around the world rescued all the banks. Whereas the average person in America and globally lost their houses, the average Joe. And a younger generation, it was a lost generation. They couldn't get jobs. It sucked. It's unfair. And a lot of these kids are still living at home in their 30s. It's not fair. And what pisses me off is in 2010, after the banks stabilized, these bankers gave themselves record bonuses. Total bullshit. I think what should happen is these banks need to get together right now and create a massive fund, or at least tax the crap out of them. Government should. And that fund should be used to give a ton back, kind of like Robin Hood, robbing from the rich, giving to the poor. Yeah, or banks should just do it themselves. And I get it that banks are the grease, or the gears, I should say, that keeps the economy afloat. but they have massive, massive cash balances. I'm not trying to get all, Bernie Sanders on you. Although I kind of wish Bernie Sanders was still in the run so that Larry David would be on Saturday Night Live more often. Yeah. All right. My favorite politician of all time is Ronald Reagan, though. Miss that guy. All right. And Tien wrote, thanks, Chris. I've checked your free courses. Thank you so much for making them free. My pleasure. My pleasure. And please, everybody, be patient if we don't answer questions as quickly as we have in the past. It's going to get crazy for me, which is going to hurt my business a lot. It's going to make my ratings go down. I just don't care about the ratings. I care about you. So we will do our best. Usually we respond to all questions within 24 hours, but it might take a little bit longer for obvious reasons now. But we're gonna step our game up now. And I still have to record lessons for my MBA degree program. So I got a lot of work going on here, man. But I got a great team. Yeah. And Jose is saying, Chris, I don't know if my question is related to today's topics, but I'm curious about how do co-op real estate companies work? I don't understand it. Can you explain a co-op apartment is a good or bad investment? Yeah, it's a great question. So, and it's something they talk a lot about in New York, and you live in Brooklyn. I used to live in Manhattan on the Upper East Side at 87 and 2nd. And Christine and I, my wife and I, when we bought our first apartment, and we bought it right after 9/11, it felt really uncomfortable, but that was the best time to buy it when everyone's freaking out. We bought it then, and we bought it in a co-op building. So a co-op building means that you don't own your apartment, you own part of the building. And there's usually rules. And they're a little bit more strict. Like you're not allowed to sublet, meaning let somebody rent your place, unless you get approval from the co-op. And there's sometimes a little bit more fees in terms of building maintenance and stuff. And they're really strict who can buy your apartment as well. They have the right of first refusal on deciding if somebody can buy or not. Like we had to go through an interview to get into our building at 87 and 2nd. So anyway, they're usually slightly, the price is slightly lower. It's very, very slightly because there's that liquidity problem where you can get Heisman or blocked from selling your place by the co-op board. But I still believe that real estate's a great investment. My grandfather used to say, buy land, they're not making it anymore. Yeah. All right. Next one is, I'm listening for the first time, which is getting an MBA. Great information. Awesome. I have learned so far, and I am super excited to continue with all of them. My husband is in the remote work. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. And he wrote, he's in the telecommunications industry. And last year he decided to leave the corporate world to start a company, UTEL, as an independent contractor. And I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on using VoIP, which is voice over IP phones for work? Yeah. So I've made a career out of this now. So this is basically voice over IP because we're using internet protocol. I've invested in the past in pure play voice over IP companies and haven't done as well, only because it was back in 2005. You probably know which company I'm talking about. It was an awful IPO. I lost a little bit on it, but whatever. I think it was just too early. But now I think it makes all the sense in the world. A lot of times my phone, I don't know if my cell phone, I use T-Mobile. They're great. They're cheap. I don't know if my phone is using, the cellular or using my Wi-Fi network at home. So it is kind of, you've seen the blurring of distinction between Wi-Fi and 3G, 4G, 5G, whatever it might be. So I'm bullish on it longer term. But I do believe that it's very CapEx intensive if you're going to start a company in this area. So you'd have to provide me with a little bit more details on the company because there's many ways to serve the telecommunications sector, hardware from a handset perspective. There's also software companies like Amdocs, ticker DOX, which is a telecommunication software billing company. Give me a little bit more color and I'd be more than happy to offer my humble thoughts. Thanks. Solly in the house. How are you, Solly? Solly is Persian. He lives in Lithuania, and he's one of my awesome MBA degree students with the best attitude ever. And I've learned so much from him, and we all have. And he's got a great YouTube channel. Check it out. Search his name. And Solly actually came up with this great methodology of putting all your goals on the wall on Post-it notes and then prioritize them and then put them into different categories when you achieve them. It's awesome. It's awesome. He is solid. He is solid. And then Solly wrote, I wonder why the euro is going down. It's 1 euro to 0.92 USD. So usually what happens in times of crisis is people see the US dollar as a flight to quality. And a lot of people get pissed off when I say that. And I'm not saying a rah-rah-rah pro-American thing. It's true. It's just relatively speaking, the lowest asset class. Like, Saul, you've seen in our MBA degree program, when we calculated the cost of capital, or the WACC, weighted average cost of capital, the risk-free rate was US Treasuries. That's the lowest risk, relatively speaking. The very last institution in the world to go belly up is going to be the US government. It'll be the very last one. The very, very last one. It's all relative. And so people see the US dollar as a flight to quality. They're scared, they buy it. It happened in '08 as well. Also, I think it was the ECB, the European Central Bank, I think this morning announced a couple of measures to add more liquidity to the market, meaning print more euros, which means that the value of the euro goes down because the supply of euros goes up. I didn't read the full release. I was preparing this morning for this. It's going to be a long day, but check it out. And let's talk about it in more detail in a couple of minutes during MBA degree office hours. We'll go through that. So we don't have that much time left, guys. We've got just 2 minutes left. I'm going to try to extend by a couple more minutes. Yeah. And if you're one of my MBA degree students, if I don't answer your questions, I'll answer them during our office hours. Actually, what I'm going to do is this. I'm so sorry to do this. I love you guys, my MBA students, but I'm going to skip all of your names here and just answer questions from people that are not MBA degree students. And then when we start MBA office hours in 15 minutes, you can paste those again. Thank you. Okay. So as Samina is saying, let's talk business. I'm composing the business plan because I am one woman, an army, and this whole deal. And I realize that the location of the ideal customer remains the same. Can I put that? Yeah. And if you want, what you can do, Samina, is take my complete business plan course. It's free today. And I gave you the link before. And in that course, I teach you how to make a 10-page investor presentation. And I also teach you how to make a business plan. Why don't you write that over the next week and then share it with us on next week's call, and I'll provide you with help. And you wrote the total addressable market is small, which isn't concerning because hundreds of $1 billion already. Yeah. Put it in the business plan and share it with me next week if you want to. Yeah, and I'll focus mainly on you next week for the call. I promise. Yeah. All right. And then Faisal wrote, isn't it better just to invest in S&P ETF for most of us? So ETF means exchange traded fund, which means you're investing in that index, the S&P. If you don't have time or the understanding of how to pick stocks, it's probably better just to think about that. But if you want to understand how to pick stocks, take my free course today called the Complete Financial Analyst Course. Thanks. Okay. Oh my God, Stella. Oh my God, you're here. Big high five, big hug to Stella in South Korea. Stella is one of my awesome MBA degree students. And Stella, I hadn't heard from you in a couple of weeks and I was worried about you. But I see a big smile. You wrote, hi, Chris, smiley face. I'm grateful to be here. So am I. You wrote, as always. And you wrote, hope you're keeping safe and healthy. I missed the call on time. Keep forgetting about daylight savings change. At least it's 12 a.m., not 1 a.m. In Korea. And thank you for your commitment to staying up late with us right now. I appreciate it. Thanks. And I'll see you on the MBA call in about 15 minutes. Thank you. All right. Snoop says, Chris, you didn't answer my question. Dude, I'm answering them in order. I think some of them get, you wrote here, you got carried away by the gin and juice. Maybe you did it on purpose. No hard feelings. No, I'll show you actually. That's my alarm. Here, let me show you. Okay. So hold on one second. And anybody else can do this with me if you want right now. I'm going to show you. So right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy your name and I'm going to go to the very top here. Okay. And we're going to search for all instances of your name. Okay. Find, and you can do this too with me. Okay. So I'm going to search. There's 4 instances of your name. Here's the first one right here. The first one, oh my God, I did miss it. I'm so sorry. I didn't even see this. Okay, you wrote as a BA, business analyst. No, you're right. And we have been having problems with this today. A lot of people are mentioning they can't see all the questions come up. Or maybe I just had a senior moment. Sorry. As a BA, business analyst, or a Bachelor of Arts, I'm not sure, who got laid off last year. I'm sorry to hear that. I struggle now because projects are being put on hold. Is it time to shift my focus and learn more technical skills like BI, SQL, and JavaScript? Yes, absolutely. And you can do it for free today. There's another guy, a great guy actually, that teaches business intelligence and business analytics courses. His name is Chris Dutton, and I'm going to get you his coupons for free right now. All right, so we go here. Yeah, this is the time to learn. So here it is here. Great. So he teaches, Chris Dutton, he's awesome. It ends Friday at noon, so you got a day to do this, okay? So I'm going to paste this, okay? You're going to follow the link and this code, okay? And I'll paste it here so you can see it. And retool and take courses from people that teach on Udemy. Like there's this amazing woman named, what's her name again? Angela Yu. And she teaches, she's a doctor, and she realized her passion is teaching. So she said, screw it, I want to teach. And she teaches on Udemy. Okay, so you go to Angela Yu, and I met her in Berlin recently. Angela Yu, and she's amazing. She's great, but she teaches courses. She teaches you everything you need to know about how to make websites. Even if you have no background, her courses are insane. Her ratings are way better than anything I could ever achieve. She teaches how to make apps from scratch. They're great. Check out her courses. You can also check out another guy who also is British. They speak gooder than me. Percival. I spent time with Rob actually at Cambridge, where he lives. Whoops, I spelled his name wrong. Sorry, Rob Percival. He has great courses as well. Yeah, here it is here, Rob Percival. They're all great. They're all great. So check them out if you get a chance, please. Yeah. And I never get any brownie points for mentioning anything Udemy based, whatever. It's an algorithm anyway. I just want to humbly help if I can. Yeah. All right. So there you go. I answered it. I'm so sorry, man. All right. See, what else do we have? Yeah, I got to go in a second, guys. Rudy is saying, hello, Chris. God bless. Same to you, bud. I hope your insurance startup is going well. Thank you. And Himanshu, how are you, bud? And Melly saying, Chris, that is so sad that the school did not give you that support. Yeah, growing up, they were bastards. That is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing, to inspire kids and the parents to know that they can learn. Amen. Amen. I'm with you. I'm with you. The role of a teacher is to inspire and to instill a sense of confidence. If you can put confidence in your students or your kids, watch out, because they can accomplish anything. Yeah. Stella wrote, no more panicking for you, Chris, since I showed up finally. Awesome. Good. Good. Prayers right back at you. I see your little emoji there. Thank you. I'm glad you're okay. Thank you. And Stella and all my MBA students, if you haven't heard from somebody in a while, like I haven't heard from Nico in Libya, please reach out and find out, or ask them over our Slack channel as well, because I do worry. I haven't seen some students in a while. Yeah. All right. All right. Melody knows. Yeah, I'm with you, Melody, 100%. And then as Samina wrote, by the way, Chris, this is day one of my quarantine. I managed to annoy my sister so much that it's worth it. I love it. I love your sense of humor. Yeah. And whenever I talk to my brother-in-law, I always tell him, okay, say hi to my sister and pull her hair for me, please. Yeah. I love it. And Valens, thank you so much. So Valens is from Indonesia, but he lives in New Zealand. Thank you for coming at this crazy hour on this webcast for you. And God bless you. Hope you and your family are well. Thank you. And then Brian is saying, I'm looking at purchasing a small business. What are some of the things to be looking at to see if it's worth the investment? Yeah. So take my complete business plan course. It's free today on Udemy, and that will help you a lot to understand the business model in more detail. In terms of what to look for in general, there's so much. I can't really explain it in a couple of bullet points. Look at probably number one, look at the valuation relative to other companies in that sector. Look at it on an EBITDA basis, earnings basis. And also look at it on a price to revenue basis as well. Make sure you understand that before you sign any paperwork. Obviously, have a lawyer read through all the corporate documents to make sure that there are no contingent liabilities, et cetera, that you're missing on. You're missing about. Yeah. And take my course called Entire MBA in One Course, because I do go through the life cycle of an entire company from birth to private equity at the end. And that will help a lot. And it's free today too. Thank you. All right. And I'm just going to breeze through this here. And I'm going to skip every one of my students in my MBA degree program. I'm so sorry, because I'm going to see you guys in a couple of minutes anyway. Question here is, what do you think about the Indian education system and IITS? I don't know much about it. I'm so sorry. Sir, this is not fair. I purchased the course for $360. Now you're offering the course for free. Well, if you bought it in the past 30 days, you can ask for a refund. Yeah. That's the first complaint I've actually heard. Okay. All right. Next up, Jose is saying, I took both 40 tips and another 40 tips to start your online course, and it was such a mind-blowing experience. And put in everything to start mine on Udemy. I'll start working hard on it. Awesome. I remember you mentioned you were thinking about creating a course in the oil services industry. And Melody wrote, I love Chris's courses. They're amazing. He's so giving. I strive to be like this. Thank you. Yeah, glassy eyes again. I know we're having issues with, yeah, thank you. All right. And give me 1 second. Let me check here. Yeah. All right. I just did a video check on my ends. And Charlie is saying, Chris, I use QuickBooks and was wondering if you have a device for doing projects using QuickBooks. Thanks. Yeah. Or projections you wrote. Yeah. Yeah, I have. I've used it before. So if you go up to the menu, you can actually have a forecast made for income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. It'll forecast for you. It's not perfectly accurate, but it's helpful. I have used it before, but don't rely on it entirely. You can export those spreadsheets automatically into Excel. It'll separate as a comma separated CSV, comma separated value file. Import it into Excel and then correct the assumptions if they're wrong within QuickBooks. But it is a pretty good starting point. Okay. And Haroun asked me if I watched Jordan Belfort versus Grant Cardone. Jordan Belfort interviewing Grant Cardone. I have not watched that yet. Not yet. Thank you. Okay, and Brian is saying, what are your suggestions when looking at purchasing a small business? Are there questions to ask? What should I be looking at? Oh, yeah. So I kind of answered this before. Oh, and you wrote you're going through my business plan course right now. Awesome. Yeah. I'll tell you what, provide me more details, first of all, on the type of company it is and the sector. And it's just easier for me to humbly answer questions if I know the sector as well. And I'm just going to breeze through these here. All right. A lot of comments on dosas. Okay. And Baha'i Gamer, how are you, bud? Good to see you. Hey, Chris, hope you're doing well. Since I have a vacation and all this free time due to this epidemic, what would you recommend me to learn since I don't want to be unproductive? Thanks. Just take any of my business courses. They're all free today anyway. And also take any programming courses you can if you're not a programmer. Take them from Angela Yu or Rob Percival. They're great. They teach you from scratch and it's fun. Okay. All right, I'm just going to stream through all this really, really fast. Other people are saying other good business movies. Steve Jobs' movie is good. I agree. Ashton Kutcher even walked like him in half of it. And the McDonald's movie is really good too. The founder, I agree as well. Yeah. Michael Keaton did a great job. All right, so I'm actually going to, and I see a bunch of questions from Stella. Stella, ask me please on the call, the next call coming up in a couple of minutes, the MBA call. All right, I'm so sorry, guys. I have to. Thank you, Snoop. I appreciate that. God bless you. Yusuf, how are you? I had a good buddy named Yusuf, which is Joseph, I think. You wrote, what is the best way for investment nowadays? Yeah, take my complete financial analyst course. It's free for today. I'll see the rest, many of you on the MBA degree program. I recognize a lot of your names. The MBA degree conference call, which starts in 3 minutes. For the rest of you, God bless you. Stay safe. And within 24 hours, one of my employees will have this entire call written up in the description field. So you can just click on it anytime you want. And thank you. Stay safe. God bless you all. And I'll see you same time next week, every week, forever. Peace. Thank you.